https://discord.gg/flat-earth. Welcome to 24/7 Flat Earth Discord channel. Be sure to go to VC Chi Check and 1 to get your VC verification tags to get involved in the conversation about our Earth. Be sure to bring your verifiable Earth curvature evidence, though.
Enemy spotted.
Owlishness.
So, what are we addressing today?
Cognitive
What would you
dissonance.
Is that Owlishness?
It is
Yeah.
Owlish.
Hello, Owlishness. What would you like to talk about?
I don't know. What were you guys on about before?
I prefer
Okay.
Falconish to Owlishness, I'll be honest.
Falconish? Well,
Yeah,
Sorry.
Falconishness is what.
it doesn't flow quite as well. But you guys were talking about what? Gas pressure?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So, what specifically about gas pressure were you discussing?
Well, we were talking about how to maintain pressurized gas, you need to have a container because
Right.
gas pressure is literally the defined by the walls of the container.
Right. Okay.
So
So,
it can't be. Sorry.
oh no, sorry. What were you saying?
I was just saying, so it can't be gravity, can it? Because that's not a wall.
No, it's not gravity that's containing it, but it is gravity that is pulling the particles down toward Earth. Because space is not entirely a vacuum, so you have a gradient between Earth and space.
So that's the claim. But then you have the definition of gas pressure, which requires
Right. Right, but if the evidence for that is if you go further up, you'll find that gravity decreases, and you'll also find that gas pressure decreases. So you'll find less air the further up you go.
So there's a wall at the top.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a wall, but I'd say it's more like a gradient. So you'll find like pressure gradients.
So then, where in the definition of gas pressure does it say gas pressure is defined by the gradient?
I'm not sure that there is a definition that says that. However, if we're talking about Earth and we're talking about gas pressure, that would be the definition of how exactly you would have gas pressure on Earth.
So
It
you
would
understand? So sorry, carry on.
No, I was just saying that, like, so you understand that particles, they have specific gravity. They have a specific mass, right?
Yeah. I know what your claim is. I understand your claim.
Right. So you would have those particles being pulled down to Earth by the gravity, and the further up you go, those particles get less and less. So then in space, you have it's not like a solid line. You don't have a solid line where it goes from no pressure to pressure. You have a gradient. So it goes through the atmosphere, right?
Yeah, no, I know the claim. Look, you're just
Okay.
describing the claim that I already know.
I thought it was about kinetic energy as a gas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what they
Yeah.
say stops it from going any
Not
further higher,
gravity,
right?
but kinetic energy and temperature.
But they
So,
say
Yeah.
that the gravity and the
PVT,
kinetic energy.
pressure, volume, temperature, they're all related.
Uh-huh.
But
And that's
Mike, they
because
say
of kinetic energy.
they say that
Okay.
the oh god, shut up. They say that the kinetic energy and the gravity actually interact to create an equilibrium, which is why certain gases settle. That's the official explanation, which
Right.
is wrong because when you have pressurized gas, you need a container because that's the definition. So when
So
you understand, yeah, just let me finish. When
yeah,
you
sure.
understand that what you are doing is special pleading, which is a logical fallacy.
I'm sorry, what's the logical fallacy?
Special pleading.
Special pleading?
Yes.
I've never heard that one. That's a new one to me.
Well, please feel free to look out.
Oh no, I don't disagree with you that that's what it is. I just have never heard that one.
Oh, no, I'm not saying. I'm not even saying that you were implying that. But what I am saying is, if I'm going to use that in this debate, and you're not aware of it, then it would be good for you to understand what that means.
I'm sorry. Can you spell that out for me so I can write it down? Special, like SPECIAL. Pleading.
Yes, and then
Okay. Special
like,
pleading fallacy. And okay, I see. I just looked up the definition. So you understand that different gases have different weights, right? So you would have a gas that is heavier than other gases. So it would be why, for example, thank you for the song. I appreciate it.
yeah, really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate the song. Thank you. Anyway, so you understand how there are gases that have different weights to them?
No, I don't agree with that. But carry on.
So you don't disagree. So you disagree with the fact that helium has a different weight than oxygen has a different weight from like sulfur hexafluoride.
I wouldn't use the word weight. I think weight would be an incorrect use of the term there. I know that
Why not?
like to a certain
Hey, what's up? So you don't agree that different gases have different weights?
I would use the term that they have different densities. I don't like the use of the word weight.
Why?
Because in order to, you'd have to weigh it, and if it's going upwards, how would you weigh something that's not going downwards?
I mean, you understand that elements have weights, right? Different elements have weights.
But that's,
Yeah, he's trying
on
to
the
figure out
periodic
how that.
table.
The density is more relevant than the weight.
Right. So
there's also part of your Newtonian gravity paradigm that I don't buy into. So you understand that as well, right?
right. So like you understand that, for example, carbon dioxide displaces oxygen.
Yeah, I agree that the density is different. Yeah, I just don't like to use the term weight for gases.
Okay, hold on.
Being carbon monoxide.
No.
Yeah,
well, both. Yeah, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Carbon dioxide also displaces oxygen because it's heavier than oxygen.
Okay,
I mean,
maybe I got
it's
this
only
wrong, but isn't carbon dioxide when you carbonate soda?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, then when you crack the container, what direction does that carbon dioxide go?
That's a really ridiculous question because obviously it is escaping the container because it is pressurized.
Was it going
However,
up or down?
so a pressurized container obviously would release the pressure up. However, if you were to inhale carbon dioxide, right, it would displace the oxygen in your lungs and you would suffocate. So that's why you can't inhale that.
Yeah, you can.
I think you got.
You really can. Oxygen makes up a minority of the elements in the fucking air. What are you talking about?
I mean, you
I
breathe out
understand that. I understand that it makes up. I understand that, but you still can't inhale pure carbon dioxide.
Yeah, you can.
I mean,
You're
you can,
inhaling
yeah,
pure
but
carbon
it would
dioxide, you
displace-
wouldn't have any oxygen to be displaced.
What?
You just said that it displaces the oxygen in your lungs.
Someone starts talking straight away.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
I think she's saying you shouldn't, not can't.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Well, you are all the time.
Oh my god. Okay. I mean, you exhale carbon dioxide, right?
Young dog.
And you inhale it.
So all I'm saying is that it displaces oxygen, right?
Okay.
It displaces the
Are
normal
you
oxygen in breathing air. Yeah. So it's not an argument of whether or not you can breathe it, because you absolutely can breathe anything, but it displaces the air, oxygen that you would normally inhale, and it causes suffocation if you were to inhale it.
Because of its weight or its density?
Let me see. I'm guessing because of its density. Let me
Checking
see.
your notes.
Yeah, I am. I'm checking my notes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna say something that I'm not gonna look up.
So density makes it to where you can't mix one gas with another, like oxygen with carbon.
You
This
can
is
mix
why,
those things.
well, you can, yes, in your lungs. This is why
But they
it's in
separate
a pressurized system. Your lungs are a pressurized system, and that's why these guys went there.
Uh-huh.
You don't see the logical track for that thinking on the topic?
Which topic? The topic of displacing of a gas. So that's the example that I'm giving for how gas pressure can be not
Well, that's where the
contained, but
topic led to, but if I gotta take us back to the topic, never mind.
yeah, sure. Good. Take us back to the topic.
Yeah, pressurized gas in a container.
Right. So, I mean, you don't necessarily. I mean, you are correct in saying that eventually all gases will disperse into the environment.
Why would it be eventual? Why wouldn't it just happen instantly, or at least a
Because
very
it
high
needs
velocity?
because of entropy.
It happens
Entropy,
violently and immediately.
Yeah.
entropy is causing that in the first place. You can't say that it's slow because of the thing that's causing it to be quick.
Yeah. It's like when you pop a balloon. Think about how
Uh-huh.
small that hole you made.
It doesn't
Right.
happen instantly. It happens pretty fucking quick.
Yeah, it's violent.
Yeah.
And if we're
I
moving,
don't think
on top of
I don't
that,
think
if we're
it's
moving 1,000 miles per hour and 67,000 miles per hour around the sun, right?
uh-huh.
If there was a hole in the container, right, it would be like, it'd be fucking
There's
very
definitely a hole.
violent.
I'm
Right.
going to need a minute to just introduce a concept. So please, no one talk over me while I do this. Otherwise, I'll just be.
Go for it, bro.
Yeah, go for it.
So Owlishness. I don't know if you've ever heard of a film called Spaceballs. It came out in the 80s. Very funny. Whatever. In Spaceballs, they actually have like a container around the Earth, right, that keeps the gas in. Anyway, just imagine that you've got an Earth the same size as our Earth, and then there's a container, say 10 miles up, that surrounds the Earth and keeps all the gas in, right? So the Earth is exactly the same as it currently is in every single way, except there's a container around the Earth that's Earth-shaped, that's 10 kilometers up all the way around the Earth. Okay? What do you think would happen to the gas if you were to, say, open a door on the side of that container? Do you think it would just stay there, or do you think it would leave?
If the container were removed, you said would it leave?
No. You just open a door on the side of the container.
Yeah, it would leave.
Right. So then what would happen if you removed the entire container?
It would leave eventually. So
So then,
right.
therefore, we would have no atmosphere.
Yeah,
right?
but like I was saying before, space is not a
I'm outta
complete
here.
vacuum, right? So
So that's
you
what
have an atmosphere that is keeping. So Earth has its own
just
gravity.
Owlishness, you're just going back to the same cope that you used before.
Yeah. I know. But that's just how it is.
That's just how it is. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's just how it
At
is.
least she admits it's their own cope, though. It's a step.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know how else you want me to explain it. It's gravity that is keeping, because it's not like a container to where like you have like gravity, or to where you have air and then not air, a vacuum. You have a gradient. That's absolutely how it works.
I just gave you the example of a container around the Earth, and when I said
Right.
that you opened, you said that the atmosphere would leave through the door.
Absolutely, yeah. It would leave in a gradient. Right. So it's like
What?
it
You
is
didn't say
absolutely a
that.
gradient. Yeah,
You didn't
that's
say
what
that
it is.
before.
Wait, if he
Oh,
opens the
well, okay,
door
then
on the
I'll restate. I'll restate what I said before.
so let me
In
ask.
that,
So if you open the door on that glass enclosed globe and you
yeah.
just opened a door, you didn't remove it, you just opened the door, you think that air is going to come out slowly or fast?
I cannot attest to the speed at which it would leave.
Well,
Because I haven't done those calculations, so I can't attest at which speed it would disperse into the
you ever see
into
Titanic?
space.
Owlishness?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember the scene where the guy gets sucked into one of the portholes?
No, I don't remember that scene, but I believe it.
Okay, so the reason why is that was the low pressure environment inside of the
Mhm.
boat, right, with the hole,
Right.
and then the water around it is like violently getting into that low pressure area, right?
Right.
Suck. Same exact thing, but with air.
No, it's not.
Okay, how
Because
so?
water has a greater weight than air.
But it's
Okay,
the
so
same force though, is what I'm saying. It'd still be violent. Like
it's
it's
not the
gonna.
same force. It's not the same force because water is heavier than air, so you would not have the same force applied
Well,
to air that you would to water.
But then
well, I
water
mean,
would actually be harder to move, wouldn't it? Because it has a
mhm.
more inertia.
Water displaces air. That's because water is heavier than the air.
Yeah, but you need more energy to move the water.
Right.
No, you don't need energy to move the water because gravity.
What?
No.
What are you talking about?
What are
You
you
need
talking
energy.
about?
You're
Energy
going.
to
I don't know where you're going.
nothing.
What kind of
moves without-
energy are you talking about? Like, what kind of energy would you need to move water?
Wait, you think stuff moves without energy?
Right. So water will displace any air that is present, right? Because it's heavier than that water. So like if you're in a car, if you drive a car into a river or whatever and your car is sinking, will the air stay or will the water displace that air because it's getting into the car?
Yeah, but
It's the
that's
same
not
thing.
analogous.
Why not?
analogous.
It's the same thing.
Mm.
No?
I don't see
No?
I don't see how.
How? Well, why don't you think how? Why not? Okay, if you have water and so if you let me give a good example. So if you take a cup, right? And you put it upside down into water, what happens?
So I
You
put a
create
cup
an air
upside
pocket.
down.
Right. You
Okay,
create an air pocket.
So you got water. You've got like a bucket of water, and then you've got like a cup.
Yep.
So, and the cup goes on top of the water.
So you're putting the cup down into the water, but you're trapping air there, right? So you're getting resistance pushing against the cup to push it back up. But what happens if you slightly tip that cup to release that pressure? The water displaces that air, right? Because it starts filling up with water.
Right.
Right, because water is heavier than air, so it displaces the air, and you get a bubble.
Okay.
So then that bubble rises to the surface because
How are you able to
it
do
is
that
lighter
example,
than
though,
air.
right? What is the cup
Right.
in that scenario? What is the cup? It's the
It's
container.
what you said about the port. Yeah, it's exact. So like, what happens when you take an empty cup and you have water and you put the empty cup down over the water, right? You keep pushing it down, but it's resisting you, right?
It's
Because
creating that air
the
pressure.
air is right. The air is trying to push back up at you. But why is that? It's because the air is lighter.
But it's
The air is
attacking
lighter
the
than the water.
container though. But that's why the cup. Basically, the cup is containing that little pocket of air.
Yep.
Right. And the force of you holding that cup down, right? Eventually, you're gonna have to hold that down to the point where you're not gonna really be able to hold that down any longer. The pressure is gonna be too much. Okay.
Yep.
So think of the same thing, right? Think of the same thing above your head with these pressure gradients, right? Because pressure gradients, right? It's still pressure. Like you can have pressure gradients. Like if you have a can of nitrous, all right, or a container of nitrous. In that container, eventually the gas will settle, right? The heavier gas goes to the bottom of the container. The lighter gas goes to the top. That's why helium balloons float, etc. Right? You agree that
No.
helium doesn't float, doesn't rise.
Helium does. Yes, helium does rise, but that's
Okay.
you wouldn't have like I don't know what you mean by a can of nitrous. If you have a can of nitrous, it's pressurized.
What I'm saying is, if the pressure gradient in that can, the nitrous would be somewhere towards the bottom because it's a heavier gas. That's all I'm trying to establish.
Oh. Uh-oh, baby Kyle.
What was that? Someone say something.
So what's the point you're making?
Sorry, I thought someone was trying to interject. The point I'm making is that even though there's pressure gradients in our atmosphere, our air,
Yeah.
still necessitates it being contained.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're right. It is contained.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what we're
Yeah.
saying.
By a wall.
Yeah.
By the wall.
So
Yeah.
the atmosphere is the one containing it, right? So then
No.
you have a gradient going into space.
No.
No.
It's not containing itself. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm
Go
just
ahead,
going to
Crypto.
grab myself, just quickly, I'm just going to grab myself like a glass of water, except there's no glass. There's no glass. It's just the water's containing itself. It's fine.
You see?
Does that make any sense?
Yes, because you can literally take ice and
No.
freeze it and then put water inside of it. So
Didn't
yeah,
say
water
ice.
can contain water.
Because the thing about ice is that it's solid, and that's why I didn't say ice. I said water because that's liquid. So your rebuttal to my saying that you can't have water contained without a solid barrier is to turn the water into a solid to make it a barrier.
I was joking about that.
No, I know, but it's funny how that's the rebuttal though. Like
yeah,
you're implying.
I know that.
And
I know.
Alex,
I was joking about that.
No one's contending with you that there's pressure gradients. We all know that. All know that.
Wait, water can be contained without a barrier.
Really?
Yeah, water tension.
Really?
Yeah. They're called water droplets,
tension.
where the surface tension just makes like a little droplet.
Yeah, surface tension.
So he's effectively saying you run out of water. The water running out is the barrier, right? But that's not really what we're talking about here.
What happens when the water is in a? What happens with the water when it's in a vacuum? What happens to the water?
Well, you're talking about how water reacts differently at different scales, like say on a planetary scale.
But you're saying that.
Droplet scale,
But you're saying
like
But the water is in a contained environment, because if it was in a vacuum, next to a vacuum, water will evaporate.
The water is not next to a vacuum.
What? Wait, evaporate? What
go
are you talking
bye-bye.
about? You need for water to turn from a liquid into a gas, you need heat.
Hold on, wait.
Water
What
is not.
are you
don't
talking
understand.
about?
You don't understand how
No, you
vacuums
don't,
work, bro.
Bro, you never done vacuum sealing before? Do you know why you vacuum seal meat? You know why that? Because you're removing all the moisture
boil water
out of
without heating it.
No. Vacuum seal doesn't remove the moisture. Vacuum seal
removes the air.
It removes the air. Yeah.
Which also has moisture. Like
no.
that's why you do
moisture. So, okay, listen.
Wow.
If you take a T-bone steak, and vacuum seal it, do you think that it dehydrates the steak?
Crypto's trying to interject.
Yeah,
hold on. No. Real quick. Do you think if you vacuum seal, if you vacuum seal a T-bone steak, does that dehydrate the T-bone steak? It's now a dehydrated steak.
No.
No,
I hope
not. You're sealing the water in.
If you put it in a true vacuum, yes, it would.
Yeah, duh.
No, but you're not. That's not analogous.
Bro, he
Okay,
tried
I
to
wasn't
call-
responding to you. I was
Yeah,
responding to
I'm
the
tell
other
you.
feller in here. I don't know who was talking.
Well, it's not
So
analogous. Right?
he called cohesion a container, bro. What do you expect?
So when a steak is vacuum sealed, it's sealed very tightly so that nothing can escape, including the water. Right?
Yes.
That's not
Yes, you're correct.
analogous to having a pool
I
of water
agree. I agree. I was
in a
responding to somebody else.
larger vacuum chamber where, as the pressure drops, the water effectively boils. We talked about this yesterday. Do you remember? We were talking about how correlation doesn't
Yes,
equal
yes.
causation.
Yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
said, well,
Yeah, yeah.
there's two different ways of boiling water. You can either drop the pressure, or you can raise the temperature, or you can do both, right? And we had this conversation yesterday.
That's interesting. So, if you lower the pressure of water, it boils. Is that why water boils at different temps? The higher you go, lower you are.
No, hold on.
Just
You're not
actual
lowering.
question.
No, but I want to be very specific with what I've said. You're not lowering the pressure of water. You're lowering the pressure of the atmosphere around the water.
Mm.
And you're
when you do
experiencing
that,
the
it makes it evaporate.
change.
So I'm just honestly asking because that's interesting. So
I think you guys
lower.
keep repeating it though.
Yeah, this is agreed upon. No one disagrees with this. Yeah.
So when you lower the pressure of the atmos, the air around the water evaporates?
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
See,
man.
I'm
Yeah,
learning
look it up.
something every day. So I come
Yeah,
here, you guys.
Cookie Monsters
And more
disagrees.
pressure
No,
as far as
water
then it
evaporates.
evaporates.
I mean, the terminology is not quite right, but it's effectively the same thing.
No, for real though. Like, I have learned so much from you guys inadvertently
Same.
because I look up things. I learned so much.
You guys,
And how you still believe this heliocentric model?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a choice, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
It takes time.
It is
Anyway,
alright.
Owlishness.
Crypto probably put the
Yeah.
two-piece on you and laugh.
Yeah, I'm only 5'3". It would probably kill me.
Owlishness.
Yeah.
Are you a space nerd? And I mean that lightheartedly.
I mean, not really.
Most flat earthers in here were space
nerd.
We loved it, right?
I mean, I'm not a flat earther, so
I'm always
no.
kidding.
Man,
I'm curious why.
I grew up on Space Ghost.
Wait, hold
Yeah.
on. What's wrong with flat earthers?
Who are the flat earthers?
I wasn't born a flat earther.
I said, what's wrong with the flat earthers? I don't understand what the big deal is.
I didn't say there's anything wrong with it.
Oh, I thought you were like hinting that there was something wrong.
No, there's nothing wrong.
Just, everyone's got their own point of view and their own story about, what made them look
Yeah,
into
but we
the
can all agree
universe.
on when somebody's just wrong and ignorant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's self-evident. Yeah, we can see that. And you can also see when someone's being honest about what they don't know, if they have a question, or if they're just trying to find a gotcha moment. There's tons of those out there, but it's like the real question in my mind, and I'm probably going to be asking it, for a long time because I see people in here asking it for like 8 years now. It's like, where is that pesky curvature? Like, where is that curvature? We're supposed to be on a ball, right?
Yeah.
Where's the curve? Where is it? And
everywhere.
And nowhere, right?
Yeah, they say you can't see it from the surface. That's what scientists
I was gonna
tell
say,
us.
I know, honey, when you look in the mirror, you see lots of curves. I'm sure that's true, but that doesn't mean you see them in the mirror.
Hold on,
Sorry, what? Who are we talking to?
Trust the authority, right?
So you do understand why you do understand why stars don't move, or you don't?
What do you mean certain stars move?
Stars don't move? Wow, that's a claim.
So the universe is expanding.
Lady,
at
look at the sky every night and you're gonna see the
right.
stars.
The
Come on.
stars move. Yeah, no matter where you are.
That if you claiming that stars don't move, that's nonsense.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Right,
They
right,
do
right.
move. So what would you say they don't?
It's okay. It's just I know Owlishness is like trying to digest what I just said, but just
Bro, I
think
asked
about
her,
it
not
on.
you, bro.
Sorry, Gemsy.
I'm sorry. What's the question?
My bad, Gemsy.
My question is, how is there 40
you want to
people
know.
in this room and
You
there's only 2 people talking?
see, Tara, you want everybody to speak at the same time? That doesn't make sense either. Owlishness, you said that the star. You asked Bisticles. Do you want to know why stars don't move? Are you going into what is your story
So
about?
so perceptively why stars don't quote unquote move, as you would
So
say.
you're going into Fantasyland.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Fantasyland for a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you understand that stars are essentially like light years away, right?
We stand under the stars. Yes, we stand
Uh-huh.
under. We stand
Right.
over the ground, so we overstand the ground, understand the stars, right? They
I'm
move.
sorry, you what? You
claiming-
overstand the ground?
Yeah, we stand over the ground. You said, do you
Right.
understand the stars? Yes, we stand under the stars. Yes, correct. And then you're
Correct.
saying now that they are moving, but they are not moving because
So
No.
we're the one moving, right? So we're moving under the stars because the stars themselves are hundreds of millions of light years away. So each
Can I ask
star.
you a silly question? Just
is
real
that
quick.
is that like a
Is it
baseless
possible
is that like a
that the
base
stuff in
is that like a baseless assertion that you're making about the stars and the
No.
ground spinning under you?
No, I'm not. It's not baseless.
How do you what are you basing it on? Like, are you just making it up, or is it a story? Because you're saying you're going to Fantasyland, and now you're telling a story from Fantasyland about this. So how do you relate that into the realist level?
So our own solar system, right? We have our own star, which is the sun, right? So that supplies
It's a
the
star. Are you making another assumption about the sun being a star?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're still in Fantasyland.
No. This is real life. This is real.
I think
This
what's
is real.
the best like breakdown of what I think you're claiming is like in general the most distant an object is, the less it is perceived to be moving, and because stars are claimed to be millions of miles away, it's moving incredibly slow in our perception.
Right. So like for example, if you're on the ground and you're looking at a plane that's up above you, right? It looks like the plane is moving really slowly, but it's not. That's just the perception that you see because the sky is much bigger than the plane. So you're seeing the plane move across the sky, which is at a scale that you cannot comprehend. So you're seeing the plane move across the sky. It's similar to how when you first see the moon at the beginning of the evening, you'll see that it's closer to the horizon. You'll see that it's bigger. And then as the night progresses, it gets smaller because you're actually seeing how it compares to the rest of you're seeing a different perspective of the moon, right?
You're saying we observe movement in degrees of objects in the sky, yes.
So it's like you're seeing the moon compared to what
Your surroundings.
Yeah, your surroundings, exactly. So you see it
In
compared to
relation,
the horizon.
it's just we can only judge the amount of movement, but that doesn't change or prove anything. It's just a gradual amount of movement that over such a vast view that we have to measure it in degrees. What we lacking is a frame of reference to go outside and just look back and say what's actually moving.
Would you like an example?
Another one is listen, hold up.
Earth.
I want to
That's
kill
an
that
example.
before you bring it up. Pressure
Mars.
differentials in the atmosphere isn't an example of pressure without containment.
Would
Yeah,
Would
exactly.
you like an example?
So there's no such
of,
thing as pressure without containment in your world, do you?
Would you like an example of pressure
In
without
everybody's
containment?
world. Sure.
I said
All
in
right,
the
I
view,
just
though.
posted a video. Here's a video posted at 24 past the hour of sulfur hexafluoride.
Oh well, this
Right?
is in the ideal state, and the atmosphere.
No,
is in
it's
an
it's
ideal
not.
state.
It's in literally
It's pure.
the normal air.
It's
So you
pressurized
literally.
air.
No, it's not. It's literally in a tank. Watch
It's
the video.
pressurized air? What?
Yeah, listen.
No, it's
they
in
had
a
to-
tank.
Yeah.
It's
So
an
you see it
ideal
literally in
gas.
an open tank. Watch the video. Literally, it's an open tank, right? They have sulfur hexafluoride in that tank.
Yeah, which is an ideal.
It is heavier than air. No, it's not ideal. Listen,
Only
you need to listen to me.
It is. Listen,
No, it's
an
not.
Why are we
ideal gas
shifting the
is a purified
goalposts?
gas that's not loose in the atmosphere. It is.
Yes,
an
it
ideal
is.
gas.
Look at it. Look at it.
I mean,
Watch
Okay,
the
why
video.
you stop? I'll break it
It
down.
is
Parts
open to
per
the
million.
atmosphere.
If this was loose in the atmosphere, it would spread out. But they contain it and they get it together,
my
and then when it
goodness.
does in
What?
an ideal state, it does funny
What
stuff.
is your idea? You can literally see
float
like
an
the top.
anvil on it, but first we have to put the gas in the ideal state, which it doesn't
What is
exist
the
that
ideal?
way in nature.
You can clearly see the
Basically, you have
top
to
of the
manipulate
container.
it. You have to manipulate
Listen,
it
an
to show
ideal
that.
state of gas
That's
is
what an
pure gas.
experiment
That's-
is, yes.
That's literally what the
Congratulations.
Earth. So like this is literally like an experiment of what the Earth is. So you have a container,
No,
i.e., the Earth.
No, listen.
Right.
The Earth.
You
Yeah.
have a
atmosphere
top. You have a
It's
a
a mixture
top.
by parts per million of ideal
Right.
gases.
Right.
Not a big collected group of the same gas all in one
Okay,
group. but
so
it
if
all
you see a
spread
big
out
collected
mixed
group
up.
of gases that are identical to the atmosphere, the pressure is going to be the same.
Don't.
Sulfur
Okay,
hexide.
hold on. So the
Sulfur, what the fuck you just said? That's
Sulfur
identical.
hexafluoride.
Okay,
Sulfur
that's identical
hexafluoride.
to the gas that we breathe.
no.
What are you talking
So
about?
No.
okay.
Oh
So
my
if
goodness.
you do have gases that are identical to what we breathe, and you have an open container,
If.
then of
You
course
guys
you're not
studied
going to
the gas
observe
laws.
anything different than what you're already seeing around you. And of course you won't accept that as evidence of pressure because you believe we live inside of a container. So
I'm lost. Did I miss anything there?
okay, there should be no
Yeah.
issue
No,
with
listen,
using a
listen,
purified
listen.
gas to demonstrate
If
pressure.
you research the gas laws, yes, an ideal gas is not a natural state. You're applying it to the natural state of the atmosphere, which is not an ideal state.
Why do you require a natural
It's called
state
a
in
fluid
order to
Let him
test?
talk. Shut up.
If you let me finish, motherfucker. See, I'm not into that. It's the atmosphere is a fluid medium. That means ever moving, ever changing. It never exists in an ideal state. So whatever experiments you perform on an ideal gas does not apply to the atmosphere. Period.
Yes, it
Because
does.
the atmosphere is not an ideal state. These gases are split up parts per million, area over volume in our atmosphere.
Okay, so I've got a question then. Is an experiment not meant to eliminate variables?
Well, they are, but it doesn't apply to a natural state of gas.
Okay, well, an
Address that.
experiment. Okay, so if I'm experimenting to
And if
test
you're
about
not,
like
just
whether
show
or not.
me how you factored it into parts
Okay,
per
so if
million
I'm
in
making
the
an
natural state of
experiment.
air.
Okay, so if I make an experiment to test whether or not visible light has an impact on how plants
Non
grow,
sequitur.
you're going to tell me, oh, well, you can't do that because you're using LEDs, and LEDs aren't a natural state of
No, I
light
wouldn't tell
because
you that.
light
I
comes
got a
from the sun.
greenhouse. No, the sunlight's electric. That's why we can use electric lights. You don't know me.
What?
Yeah.
You heard me. I
That's
got
why
a
indoor
room
grow
in my
houses
Wait, what do you
work.
mean light is electric?
It is.
Listen,
it puts off lumens, electrical.
It's made out
and
of.
sunlight.
Wait, I didn't say.
lumens.
Okay, putting out lumens doesn't make something electric.
I got a greenhouse full of berries. We just enclosed it because they're third generation berry bushes. And mostly we use electrical lighting on them, and they're the best berries in my region. So
Okay,
you
that's
can grow
great.
the same thing
So
on
you do
electrical,
understand.
you can grow on light. That
Okay.
doesn't apply to what I'm talking about. You're trying to take an ideal state and make it exist all
Okay,
the
well,
way
the
around
ideal
the Earth.
state in my. Okay, so the ideal
gas
state
laws
in my
don't apply
hypothetical.
to reality. The guy that created them said that. Gussie's.
Sorry, do you have more you want to talk about before I'm allowed to speak?
No, you should research gas laws and Gussick's laws and Charles' laws, Boyle's laws, and then maybe you know something.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn. I didn't know about any of this stuff. It's like you're trying to fucking interrupt him. He's trying to explain some shit. Like I'm trying to
It's the
listen.
only
Yeah,
recourse they have when
listen,
it's a logical premise
Owlishness,
they have to prove their point and not knowledge.
Right.
Owlishness brought this up, and Goldshock is defending it, even though he's clueless about the ideal Gauss laws. They don't know about this, but they want to
You know,
speak over you.
yeah, you know Gussick's laws, bro. You know what I'm saying. I'm not
Okay,
really being
so
rude.
what do
I'm
you want
trying
me
to
to defend
enlighten you.
then?
I mean,
What exactly do you want me to defend?
No. It's Goldshock was defending your
Example of gas
example
without contain.
Right,
The only
so
thing I was
what
taking issue with.
without knowing what he was defending. That's
no,
what.
to be
No,
clear,
he knows what he's defending.
to be clear, the
So
only thing I was defending is that the idea that it needs to be some perfect or imperfect system to explain it. I think that's a foolish concept. That's all.
Who said that? Who said perfect or imperfect?
Okay, so
What does that
BattleMod
even
took
mean?
issue with the experiment because it's not an accurate representation, because it's a perfect gas.
Because it's not.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
But
well,
that wasn't
okay,
what I'm just
then that's
taking
fine.
issue with, that being a reasonable reason to reject it. That's all.
So
So
let me give a different
here's the
example.
premise,
So
if you can understand it. No
You can let
real
Owl go on now.
All right,
No.
but no, this is a gas law. No real gas exhibits ideal gas behavior. And that's why ideal gas laws do not apply to the natural atmosphere or gases we see in the atmosphere,
Wait,
because
then it's not
ideal
an ideal.
gases have been manipulated by man and don't exist in nature.
Okay, sorry.
That's
You need to
pretty...
repeat the entire claim and like provide a citation, please. I'm really interested now.
What is not a
It's
claim?
not a claim. It's Boyle's fucking law, dude.
That is a claim by definition.
Goldshock,
Boyle's law.
you need to chill
There's your
out, dude.
citation.
all right, so let me break this down a little bit further for you, if you would like. Would you like me to kind of break it down for you?
You're gonna teach Madam about ideal gases, ideal laws.
No. I'm gonna go even deeper than that. You ready? Are you ready for this?
Not an ideal.
No,
I'm shaking in my boots with anticipation.
Yeah, you should
I'm not
be.
ready.
Are you ready? No, you should be. All right. So here we go. So, do you understand the periodic table of elements?
No.
Oh.
That's okay. So, if you look at the periodic table of elements, you'll realize that each element has its own weight, right?
Well, that's not a realization. No, I already know that. So you ask a person if they know it, and then you talk to them like they didn't.
Okay, well, I'm assuming that you know that everything has its own weight. That's kind of
you're
a.
not, or you wouldn't be asking. I'm sorry, I gotta try.
Okay, well, I'm telling you that it's pretty much a commonality that each element has its own weight. So you know that each element has its own weight. So therefore, each compound has its own weight. So if you apply that, yes, compound, because you realize that
define compound.
Air.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, define compound. Go ahead.
How are we using it in this context? Since this is chemical compound, gaseous
So you-
compound.
Talking about gases.
Yeah, gaseous compound, because you realize that the oxygen that we breathe is not composed of just oxygen. It's a
That's right.
combination. It's a compound. Right.
Parts per million.
So we're not breathing just pure oxygen, right? So we're breathing a number. Yeah. We're breathing a number of things.
Yeah,
so
all gases have a rate.
Okay.
Right. So each one of those things has its own weight, which we breathe. So you have different chemical compounds such as sulfur hexafluoride, which is what I just posted. If you were to release sulfur hexafluoride or carbon dioxide, or like, for example, if you have
Takes a long time for it to disperse because the entropy rate is low.
Yep. Yeah. Why is that?
Yes, it does.
Why
Because
is
of
the
the
entropy
density
rate?
of the material in the medium
Right.
you're releasing.
Correct. Correct. Because we gave this
Archimedes
example
physics
earlier.
comes in.
Right, because we gave this example earlier because we were talking about mercury and iron balancing, or iron floating on mercury, right? So we were talking about the density of both materials. One is more dense than the other.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
So
this is called specific gravity.
right. So we're both
Or
agreeing that
relative density.
gravity is a thing.
Yeah,
No.
relative density. That's what we're
Uh-huh. So
talking
relative
about.
density and gravity. So we have
No, I said
so we have
specific gravity and relative density. Those are actual theories that you should look up because the specific term of gravity
Yep.
is displacement due to relative density of medium in both objects.
Correct. So if we apply that to basic elements that we have in the atmosphere, in the environment, they each have their own specific weight. So they would be, if they were to be compounded into, compounds, they would be heavier or lighter? Heavier, right?
Where are you going with this?
You mean like bonding?
So in other words,
wait. When they become bonded, they become a different chemical altogether.
Right. That's called a compound, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm asking.
Right.
You're specifically talking about coherent bonding.
Uh-huh. So the
Okay.
oxygen that we breathe is comprised of what? Oxygen,
It's called air.
hydrogen. It's called air, so it's not just oxygen, right? So
We
as
know
we
that.
go further up in the atmosphere, the oxygen gets thinner. Why?
Okay, well, kinetic energy covers that because it can only do the work in the system that it has the amount of energy to do. Movement takes energy. And different gases, due to their density, not weight,
So
will
Yo,
retain
what's up,
more
Michael?
energy,
so it
more
goes as far as
energy from heat because heat is temperature. That's why it's pressure volume over temperature, and that's a gas law, Boyle's law. So
pressure
kinetic
volume
energy
over what?
Temperature.
Battle mod. What
Pressure
up, bro?
volume over
pressure
temperature.
times volume over temperature is constant.
PVT.
Okay.
PVT.
PVT.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm
Boyle's law.
trying to stay on track.
You can
so
look
you
up Charles'
understand
law,
basic
Avogadro's laws, Gussik's law.
Avogadro's law. Gay
Okay, so
Lusak's
you
parts of
understand
Gay
basic
Lusak's
chemical
law.
laws, so therefore you understand gravity, right?
Specific gravity, not the gravity you're talking about.
It's supposed to prove something. I already
Same
covered
thing.
specific gravity and relative
Okay.
density, and these are gas
Right.
laws in kinetic theory.
So
But you keep going to
basically what
gravity,
you're
and
affirming right now,
gravity isn't attached to any one of those theories I mentioned.
it literally is, because
No, relative density, special relative. No, it's not.
but everything that you mentioned does,
No.
because it
Specific
applies
gravity,
to
relative
right.
density,
That's
and the gas
right.
law.
Uh-huh.
They all work off kinetic energy theory. They're all part of kinetic theory.
Correct. So
not
how does that
gravitation.
apply to the globe, right?
And it applies to thermodynamics and the amount of
It
energy and
it
ability
doesn't
to do work in a system. It doesn't apply to a globe, in my opinion.
How does it not
it
apply?
doesn't specifically it doesn't because in
Because gas laws.
as far as the system is concerned that you're talking about, the reason that this system is what it is because of all of these attractive forces. Well, in kinetic gas theory, there are
Doesn't
no
matter.
forces that are
the shape of the container doesn't matter. Only the movement of the gas, how gas moves under pressure, volume, or temperature.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, you got it.
We can
but it's not.
demonstrate
You
all
said
that
how is it affected? It
in
doesn't.
a lab under containment. You know how we demonstrate pressure over volume and temperature in a lab? I'll give you an example. If I want to boost the pressure in my propane tank because I've been using it too long on the asphalt, it builds up a ring of frozen area on the bottom of it to the differential exchange for the gas to release. All you do is heat up the container with a different propane tank. You increase the pressure, therefore increase the volume and the temperature, so they're all related, PVT, and then you just demonstrated the expansion of gas under heat in containment.
Right.
It's only constant, the pressure, as long as the temperature is constant. Can only do the work that the heat brings to it, the energy. That's kinetic energy. You
And
need energy to do work in the system.
So how long during the day do you have kinetic energy or that heat? About what? 12 hours a day?
24/7.
Well, there's different forms of heat than just the sun, but yeah.
No. You only get the sun for
You
like
get heating and cooling and movement.
Mhm.
So the movement
Right.
is heat
Waves and you
in of
get
itself.
volcanic.
Water moves,
Right.
particles move.
So wait,
Yeah, things become
volcanic. Hold
excited.
on. What are you talking about volcanic?
Wait.
I'm just saying, once you excite particles, they create heat themselves. So the heat supply creates heat also.
Heat is heat. You're correct. Heat is heat. There's no different types of heat. There is just heat.
Gotcha. So where are you going with this owlishness again?
I don't know. You kind of just proved my point, like for me. I didn't even have to do anything.
I don't even know what your point is.
You got no point.
You literally just proved my entire point.
Which is?
You
Kinetic
proved the
theory.
pressure gradient.
Well, pressure gradient doesn't disprove non-containment. That's the problem. The only way we can demonstrate it is with containment. In a propane tank, you get gas on top, fluid on the bottom, and if there happens to be any metal in the bottom of your tank, which we flush those periodically to get the metals out, they'll be on the bottom. So there'll be a gradient in the propane tank too, and that's the only way I could demonstrate it to you.
Right. So you have gradient inside of what?
Under containment.
Under containment.
Yeah.
So in other words, the atmosphere you have a gradient, right?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is people act like that in this tank, the pressure should be even all the way through, but it's not true, right? And you know why? That's because you have gas on top and liquid on the bottom, and fluid pressure will never be equal to gas pressure, and gas pressure will vice versa, So
Wait, just to be clear, gas is
kind of
actually
like
a fluid.
the Earth.
It won't
Right?
be a uniform pressure.
Yeah, kind of like
Probably
the
mean
Earth,
liquid.
right?
That's
Kind of
why
like
we should
how you have.
She's like giving a class to Batman, saying, "Right, you're correct, boy. Yeah, well done."
No, she's not giving me a class. She's just acknowledging.
She's acting like
kind of
she's.
like.
This is why we shouldn't compare the pressure in the ocean to the pressure in the atmosphere, because they're two different categories.
You literally
Wait, how are
just
they two different
explained-
categories?
You literally just
Fluid
explained
pressure
the
and gas
entire
pressure.
Earth model to me.
I just explained it. And no,
Yeah.
actually, I know the
Liquid
atmosphere
on the
is not-
bottom.
Just to be
pressure
clear,
on the air,
Jesus, your
pressure on
fucking
the
voice is
top.
annoying.
Just to be clear,
Who, me?
both gases and liquids are fluids.
No, see, you say it's a heliocentric model for an atmosphere because you attribute gravity to everything I say, but I've told you specifically when these concepts were brought out, there was no theory of gravitation, so it couldn't have been applied to specific gravity or relative density because it didn't exist at that time. And Gussick's laws and Charles' laws, they don't require any area or shape. It's how gas works. Period.
When you say they don't require it, are you just saying that like the explanation?
Gas doesn't work in a uniform shape or manner. Gas is like water; it has no inherent shape, and it takes
No,
the
their
shape of
point
a
of
container.
the guys who are
exactly
studying
correct.
those gases, excuse me, the guys who are studying those gases, Charles and Gussies and all, the point of observation was so limited that in those limited spaces, yeah, gases displayed certain laws. But when you increase that point of observation to planet scales, things change. Those guys had no concept of what that means. So now we have modern technology and we can actually observe gases on planetary levels. And we know that those guys were, just observing things in their lab
So
in
when you
small
go to
containers.
Fantasyline, it's different.
Is that supposed to be a refutation of the gas laws? That
I
we
mean, the
still
point
use?
more so is that you
not
guys want to
refutation.
rebuild everything from first principles, and that's
Not
like nigh
refutation,
on
but the thing
impossible.
is,
No.
gas law does
Yeah,
not
you do.
include gravitational. What do we say? Force. I mean, just don't call it gravity. Call it some other force. Call it whatever you want. Call it baloney force.
Specific
No,
gravity.
So
yeah, no, it's just how. No, actually, gas laws just apply to how gas works. He's correct. Doesn't We're
in
not saying
small
any other
spaces.
force works on them other than energy. Gas particles need energy for movement. Period. Otherwise, they can't do no work. So unless we can prove there's a force pulling up or pushing down on them, we have to stick with what we know. If I want this gas to spread out quicker, I gotta heat it up.
Yeah, but the thing is that we know that there's something pulling up. For example, when you use propane, for example, if you spray propane, propane sinks down because propane is heavier than air.
Yeah,
So
and that's covered by densities. It doesn't need a push or pull. It doesn't
no,
require a
but the
pull.
thing is, that's what I'm saying. If you conduct that same experiment in a free fall, propane will not sink.
Helium will
Propane will
rise,
just.
but
What's
it'll
that?
only rise as far as the amount of energy it has to do work
It will
or
not
movement.
rise. What I'm saying, you can take that same cylinder, do the same thing on the ground, propane will sink. But
Oh,
in a free fall experiment, the propane will not sink. Propane will just go how it is going. It will just disperse in the atmosphere like anything else. It won't sink unless there is a force. You call it gravity, you call it baloney, you call it donut, whatever you call it. Unless there is a force acting in one direction, won't sink on the ground. That's the only point.
Yeah, and then from that you could probably derive that
Yeah,
we
that
don't
doesn't prove
necessarily
the
have to be in
glow.
a
that's the
container,
funny
I
thing
guess. Yeah.
about gas. It doesn't have a preferred direction. It depends on how much energy it has, and it disperses 360 degrees spherically. That's the entirety of the point. It
That
doesn't
is
have a
true. It does.
gas does not have a preferred direction, shape. It don't have a defined shape or a preferred direction. It can rise or
Yeah,
fall depending on its state. And its state can be manipulated through the
Wait, how do
reducing
you
of
know
temperature.
it?
energy, cooling or heating.
Wait, how do you know it
True,
has no
true.
preferred direction?
Kinetic theory. We can demonstrate it. It expands. So we release a gas in a room, right? Does it all go to one area? No,
I'm
not always.
not sure what bearing what gas does in a room has on like a greater model of like a whole world or
How
something.
would you be so sure it had a preferred direction of travel?
But you're the one who
Kinetic.
claimed that it has no preferred direction, so I just wanted evidence for that.
What
In a
is the,
vacuum.
is the
I don't
room?
have to
Is the
prove that,
room?
but you
Is the
can't
room on?
disprove, guy. That just because you said no, can you prove that? No, I can't prove it. Can you prove it does?
Is the room on the Earth?
I mean, nothing that Battle Mod has
Good to
said
see
so
you,
far about
Elijah.
propane and gas is
Good
I
to see
don't
you
take
too.
exception
He's
to any of
doing
that.
fine.
Everything seems correct. Everything seems correct.
Well,
It's just the conclusion that he's drawing is like slightly like I
well,
would like
there's
to have
no, there's
one-on-one at
what
some point if it
conclusion?
becomes
Like, is
weekend.
at the end of the day, you
Tangent.
guys are trying to smuggle in this premise of a attraction to the center of the Earth.
Snuggle.
Let's face
Preferred
it.
direction, exactly.
And
No,
Apply it
yeah,
there's
to
a
gas.
don't
force
say
in one
no in the
direction.
middle of me saying what I'm saying. It's very late night. I don't want to fucking
Yeah.
have to like let's keep it chilling. Like, don't talk when I'm talking. So I just posted 2 citations in the chat. Um, even if there was a force, it has nothing to do with the movement of gases, according to kinetic gas theory. Um, and these collisions between the particles and the walls of their container, or in centrism's case, no walls. There's no energy loss. Therefore, it's not like they would be slowing down because of, again, the thing that we discussed in the former, the force of gravity. They're not affected by the force of gravity, and they don't lose energy. So once they're on a trajectory, they're going that way until they collide with something else. So I mean, the conclusion is the gas would fill the space and it would fuck off into space, and then we wouldn't have any air to breathe. And you guys just don't like that that's the case.
That's not true, man. Kinetic theory is
There's
like
nothing
I
logically
know.
unsound about it.
There's like I know what kinetic theory is, and
Okay,
we
can
can
I ask you
derive
something?
EV
You
equals
say it's
nRT
not
using
true.
kinetic. Go on, go on.
Listen, you're saying it's not true. Can I get a quote from kinetic theory or even a citation from the theory that disagrees with anything I stated? That gas has no preferred direction. It expands in all directions, omnidirectional. Can you
I
prove
mean,
that?
I never
Because
said
that's
whatever
actually
you
what
said
we
is wrong.
observe.
Yes,
I mean, if your
Yes,
propane
what
tank
you are
leaks in
saying
your
is
house,
correct.
what happens to your house? It fills the whole damn house up. It doesn't have a
Yes,
preferred direction.
an ideal gas has no preferred direction, but there is an external force acting on it, and propane is
No
not an
gas
ideal
has a
gas.
preferred
No,
direction.
depends. Ideal gas, because depending on density.
No
No, no,
gas.
no.
You can mix
Ideal.
them all together and they still have no preferred direction.
There is though.
They
That is wrong.
collide. There's a
Yeah, they
million
collide,
collisions
but
going on
They
every
collide
second.
and cause
You're
heat.
telling me, hold up, they're going this way, that way, and colliding with each other, but you're telling me they're
that's
doing
for
it all
liquid
while
as well.
following one preferred track, and it's bullshit. You couldn't
For
demonstrate it if you wanted to.
No, that is for liquid as well. This kinetic theory that you're talking about, that molecules have elastic collision and stuff like that, that's true for liquid as well. That does not mean that what we preferred
No,
direction.
we're
What do
not
you mean by
talking
preferred
about super
direction?
liquid. We're just talking about gas laws and the
Yeah,
demonstration of
let's just talk
the
about
workings
let's
of
just talk
gas.
about gas laws. Gas laws, ideal gas. Okay, this ideal gas laws hold only at high temperatures and low pressures. And that's a caveat, because what scientists observed is that all the gases, when they're isolated, they do not behave according to ideal gases depending on which gas they're dealing with. And that's why there are corrected gas laws that we are using these days. And for refrigerants, propane is one of the refrigerants. There are some other gas law. No one uses ideal gas law.
Helium.
But for propane, nobody uses ideal gas law. Honestly, as a refrigerant, propane, nobody uses ideal gas law. In a refrigeration cycle, propane does not follow ideal gas. But thing is that this preferred direction is just it's absurd. Gases do
Yeah.
have direction depending on what their density is.
Well, gas has mass. Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't prove the globe, right?
We haven't even touched on that topic. We're just talking about how
Listen,
from
gas
one
can't
premise to the
travel
other.
on any direction without energy.
It
Yeah.
can, unless there is
Okay.
no
It
Okay.
external
can't.
force
Because
acting on it.
for
It can't. Listen,
uh,
you're acting like falling down is it doing movement. It's not. When it runs out of energy, it returns to its natural place. When it
Um,
gets heated up, it might rise again because now it's got newfound energy.
you are correct. What you said is not wrong. If it is heated up and the density becomes lighter, it will rise up. You are correct. But again, why it rises up is because of a force in the downward direction, because it is interacting with a heavier element next. What you said, that a gas will heat up and rise up, is
Well,
100%
there's
correct.
kind of a
It will
vortex
rise up because
created
of a
when,
force.
listen, there's kind of a vortex created that causes displacement in a systematic way where cooler air that was rising is now falling down and warmer air that was falling and got warmed is now rising back up. So it becomes a flow, not a force. And that
Yep.
flow in of itself can cause movement.
Yes,
Now
that
we
is
get
that
into
that
convection and radiation and all the distributions of heat and
Eddie, you
energy
just
and
described Eddie vortices. You're correct. You're correct on that as well. Nothing you've said so far is wrong. But there's some things that
it
some
still
assertions that
doesn't
you made is.
require a preferred direction or a gravitational force. We can see the movement without applying any of that, and we can even predict it and calculate it and rate it. Yeah.
See the thing is the preferred direction thing, as you said. I mean, the thing is, unless there's a force acting on the gas,
Yeah,
then
I
you're
agree
correct. There
with
is no
the
preferred
less
direction.
there's a force acting on the gas, but we really don't see evidence that we can say this wants to rise, but something's pulling it down.
We see that. That is what I'm saying. We see that
No,
when the
you're
when
saying because air cools and it no longer has energy to do work and rise in a system and it's no longer least dense and it starts to fall, that some force must be pulling it down. But the
then
reason it's
hold on.
falling is because its density's changing due to cooling and it no longer has energy to do work
I'm
from
saying that the
cooling.
same cool air, which would fall on this earth, would not fall. The same with zero energy, would not fall in a free fall experiment.
In a vacuum. You say free fall, you mean a vacuum chamber, right?
No, I mean a free fall experiment. You take something up an airplane and the airplane dives free fall. Like no engines, nothing, just free falls like a stone.
So if we cooled a gas to an ideal state, took an airplane and dropped it, it'd fall because it has no energy to rise, and somehow that proves gravity?
It won't fall. It won't fall unless there is a. So the thing is, the same thing, whether you cool it or
Why
heat it,
would it float? It has no energy.
it will still. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is what I'm trying to say. It's got nothing to do with
You're saying
energy.
the only way it can fall is if yeah, listen, it does. Energy and density. That's what specific density is, and relative density. They apply.
I know what those terms are. I know what those terms are. Don't worry about it. I understand them intimately. Go
So
on.
all things in the medium are
He's getting
separated by
mad.
the density, right? Including gases.
Yeah, but
and
that density does not matter.
gas in gas, dig it, it's got that funny quality where the density can change depending on the temperature.
Yeah, it does. But density means
So a
nothing
thing
unless
doesn't
there is a
rise
force
because
act.
it beat gravity, it rises because it has energy and it's
Yeah,
less dense. And then when it becomes more dense,
yeah. You don't.
it doesn't require a force, it will fall down because it's more dense than the air around it. And it no
Then
longer
why
has
does it
energy to make
not do
itself
the
do
same
work.
thing?
You guys act like something can float without having energy to do work in a system. If it was a force, it'd
Listen,
float.
Battlemore.
No, no.
Battlemore. I think we are going in
It's
circles. We are going in
illogical.
circles. What I'm saying is
It's illogical.
no. What the logic? We are going in circles because the thing you said that something falls down because the energy is lost. Okay, basically you cooled that thing down, right?
Yeah,
But
and
what
the
I'm saying is
density
if you take it
changed
on a plane,
also.
yeah, but the density means nothing unless there's a force acting on it. And when we negate that force in a free fall experiment, the thing does not behave like what you expect it to. That even if it is cold, it does not fall. Does not fall to the ground relative to the other air in that medium. Anyway, I actually have to get going, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
please
you
think
know,
about this a little bit and then
there's gases. Listen,
think
I know
about
what
it.
you're
And
talking about. There's gases in the clouds that are super cool that should fall but don't. That's how storms
no, no,
are
no, I'm not talking
created.
about that. I'm talking about the air inside the plane.
I'm with you.
I'm talking about the air inside the plane. Anyway,
You
guys,
mentioned
I
the
really have work tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. Take care. Okay, bye.
later.
Bye, I love you.
Damn, that's not a thing you hear a lot of on a flat Earth server. Love getting thrown around and stuff.
I thought you were lying to him.
Yeah, man, like, I ain't got hate for anyone.
She said I love you to Batman.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's hard to say.
Anyway, what are we discussing?
Gravity and gases.
Hollow Earth?
No.
Hollow
See,
Earth? No.
you're not
No.
paying attention, buddy.
I totally am. You're still discussing the same thing. Can we move on?
I didn't say Hollow Earth. That guy did.
I know.
You could say, for instance, all objects we look at in space and so on are all spheres. Why would you expect us to be anything different? Right? That's just an example, right? Don't like argue with that. It's like obviously it's not a strong one, right? But you get a
Yeah, it's a non
series of
sequitur.
those sorts of arguments. You'll look at observations. You look at the stars at Polaris and the southern hemisphere. You'll look at a myriad of other things, right? And then you'll come to that conclusion, well, whether it's more likely or not to be a sphere, right? That's the point. You take empirical observation and you contextualize it into a probabilistic inductive argument, right? So it is empirical. It's just that you can't make a knowledge claim about it. That's all.
No, it's not
Right.
empirical.
So I have two empirical claims. So there's the deflection of the vertical study. This is a completely independent way to determine geoid slopes is to measure the local deflection of the plumb line from what one would expect if all of Earth's mass was evenly distributed inside of Earth ellipsoid. Right? I posted two links.
Oh,
I
dear.
posted
Yeah,
the
just keep talking. This ain't new shit.
it's not new. So
This ain't new to none of us.
why?
You think we don't? Flat earthers don't know about geodetic surveys, deflection of the vertical, the premises. You know, in geodetic
So
survey, they
you got
correct all you hold on. When you go by a model, you start from a datum. That datum is a spheroid datum, and all measurements are corrected to adhere to a spherical coordinate system. So they input sphericity. They don't measure sphericity. And only after you input the spherical math does the vertical deflect. Have a good day.
so this one is a camera is placed at each GSVS benchmark and is precisely leveled to the plumb line. So this is actually calculated by the stars, not by the Earth. So basically it's using elevation angles as you guys like to use. So I've posted two links, which is deflection of the vertical survey and then the link for
Is that
vertical
supposed
deflection.
to prove your sphere?
Yeah.
Is that supposed to prove the sphere? Do you
Yeah.
understand what I said to you about survey? You know, survey is a requirement of my job. I'm a highway engineer. We pave
Yes.
highways, so we survey.
Yep.
So the
Yeah, I understand
deflection
that.
of the vertical is only seen after you input spherical math or you correct for math. Then you bookmark your shit from a benchmark. I know. I
Right.
went to school for this.
So this one is
In real life, we see that all verticals are 90 degrees and none deflect. But when we input sphericity for the geodetic survey model of the spherical coordinate system, and we correct for its placement on a sphere, then we would see mathematically that they do deviate, and it's after being computed for the shape of a sphere.
So
But in
this one is
reality,
not done
all
that.
verticals are 90 degrees. No, yeah, I know, but this point applies directly to that. And if you don't understand it, then there's no sense for us to even cover that one.
So this one, like I said, is
There
calculated
is no
based directly
deviation in the
off.
vertical.
Right. So this one is based directly off of elevation angle. So it essentially is
Yeah,
using a
elevation angle. And then listen, they take it and put it on a spherical model and they say, yup, it deviates. This is what I'm telling you. And this is the process I learned in school to survey highways. I actually do survey. I own total stations. I'm tired of hearing Theadio like, we don't use that old school shit. We use a total fucking station. Okay. And we
Right.
don't see them deviate
So
any vertical. In reality, it's 90 degrees.
right. So it would
From
be
plumb.
90 degrees
The plums
because
don't.
you're using elevation angles, right?
It would unless. No, it's got
Huh?
nothing to do with elevation. No. In this instance,
No.
it doesn't matter
But
what
are you
elevation you're at. Plumb is plumb 90 degrees.
right? So are you
Elevation doesn't
measuring?
matter.
But are you getting accurate results after inputting your spheroid calculations?
Spherical math.
Right. Are you getting accurate? Are you getting accurate
No,
results?
listen. It's accurate results to what we would see when we add spherical math to a Cartesian coordinates that we mapped out in Cartesian coordinates. That's what we do in planar survey as a
Yep.
civil servant.
Mhm.
Okay. And then they take it and they wrap it around the math of their supposed ball. That's called the World Geodetic Survey. So we take real life
Right.
measurements and we add spherical math. Do we see anomalies? Yes, because all the land that actually is measured doesn't fit on the sphere.
But you have to add the spheroid in order to get those accurate results,
A
right?
deviation of plumb.
Uh-huh.
No, not accurate results. To get a deviation of plumb, you have to add in spherical math. When you
But that's
listen,
how you
you are you one of those people that say the Earth surface is so big that you wouldn't notice curvature on the surface anyway? If so, it shouldn't be that hard to understand how a Cartesian coordinates, which is a tic-tac-toe board, and you do it in short distances and sections, goes together and builds a big square, you know? And then you're wrapping it
that's
around a
how it's
sphere.
done,
There's
yeah.
going to be access. There's going to be anomalies. I already know it's how it's done. And the anomalies are because you're taking reality and wrapping it around a concept.
It's not a concept though. Like that's how you get accurate results.
It is a concept. A datum is it's a coordinate system.
Right,
You
but
don't
are you
get accurate
getting
results by presupposing the coordinate system which you're measuring.
so
That's not how
if
you
you
get
are not
accuracy.
using that accuracy, are you getting accurate results? So if you're not using the
How
curvature
about I put it this
model,
way? If you don't
are you
add
getting
in curvature, you'll never measure it. You understand that?
right because
You'll
you
never
won't get
measure it
accurate
in
results.
civil planar survey. That it's not
Right.
about accuracy.
Are you getting
We
accurate results
survey
with
in planar. Do you know what planar is? Planar survey. It's a plane. We create a plane.
Mhm.
We create all
Right.
these lines
Exactly.
and graphs. It's a
Because you're
plane.
measuring it in
And
short
without spherical math from your World Geodetic Survey, without that
right. So
math, you wouldn't see a deviation of plumb. So you'd have no proof of a globe. So you have to input the math of the model to see the deviation that
My
proves the globe.
God.
So the model proves the map and the map proves the model. Do you not get it?
so
It's
you're measuring
illusory
it
bullshit.
you're you're measuring it in short distances, right? Why do you think you're measuring it in short distances? Because
Because
of
of the
your
capabilities of the equipment and the accuracy. It's more
right
accurate at a shorter distance. Why is
because you
that? Because of
have
the
your
atmosphere and refraction.
because of your 8 inches per mile square because you would have
It's got nothing to do
that
with shape and everything to do with how good you can use that tool in the atmosphere.
hmm
Yeah. Accuracy, we do it in short distance for accuracy. We don't add
right
sphericity for accuracy. That doesn't even make sense.
makes
Stop
perfect
believing the
sense.
first Google link you get. It doesn't make sense. We
It's
presuppose
not
the truth to
the
make it more true. That's what you're
it's not
saying.
the first that's not the first Google link.
We should read deeper into it so you understand what they actually do. Rise over
Yeah,
run versus
I do
curvature.
know. I do know.
You ever been on a job site where total station, laser levels, any of that stuff is used, range finders?
So here's another
I've
study,
been on many, many.
the Geoid Slope Validation Survey of 2011.
Next, you'll be on the arc of the parallel.
So here's another one.
Wait, could it also just be caused by like inaccuracies? Like if there's measurement like issues or like things like that, data collection issues?
If there's
There's
what?
inaccuracies in any measurement. It's man-made.
Like inaccuracies in
That's a,
surveys.
There's always inaccuracies. That's
Yeah, so
why
yeah.
yeah, but that doesn't necessarily disprove their ability to
No, the model
measure
can't
reality.
prove itself. That's all you're saying. The model proves itself because of my math. You're reifying the model. You ever heard anybody say the map isn't the land and the land isn't the map? Well, the purpose of the map is so you can navigate. Maybe not 100% perfectly, but we'll get you to your destination. I mean, we can't write down every landmark and every contour. I would say if you could measure curvature, it would be impossible, and that's why they take a parabola and extend it over a large area, and with their measurements, they computate and correct for the arc that parallel would have. That's why it's called the
Right.
arc of the parallel.
So
If it
that's
was a
your 8
sphere, it'd
inches
have
per
this
mile
arc.
square, right?
Yeah, and if you put a bunch of sticks on a ball, yes, they'll deviate. But if the ball is mathematical, it doesn't prove reality.
So, but they're also using absolute gravity to determine what?
Determine plumb.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't see how that changes anything.
So not only are you proving that the Earth is round, but you're proving that there's gravity. Because you're finding different gravities
No.
turning
That's your
upon the
rebuttal to
elevation.
that.
Yeah.
Really? You
Uh-huh.
haven't been at this very long, have you?
Nope.
I'm not proving shit. I mean, you failed to prove you even had a point with this, but it's cool.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm using the evidence that I'm being
You're
given, so it's
using what
not.
you found on a quick Google search. Yeah, I'll commend you for that. I spent a
The,
little more time researching this
mm-hmm.
particular category because it is close to what I do for a living.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a highway engineer. I pave highways. I'm pretty sure I already said that a couple times.
You think everyone has been listening to you, Yambalon?
What?
You think we've all been sitting here listening to you ramble on?
So
not
here's
rambling.
Question or
another.
an attempt to insult me? Hold on. Is that a question or a jab?
Just a question.
So
I mean, I don't hear you with a better topic.
Well, I
We'll give
just
you the
joined.
floor if you need it. Come on.
Sure, I'll take the floor. Why do lasers and level measuring instruments not work properly? What were we talking about?
No.
So I also wanted to
Seems
mention
like
real
you
quick
missed the point.
is
Go ahead, man.
I wanted to mention real quick that you hear a lot of issues with not being able to here it is, not being able to measure elevation angles on a curved surface, right? Here's another link showing how they measure elevation angle on a curved surface, which includes deflection of the vertical.
That's interesting.
You jump topics. I'm hip to all these topics, but you jump around quite a bit. What are you on? Some
No, this is the
master
same thing.
Glober survey fucking bullshit?
This is the same thing. It's
Well, I know,
NOAA.
but
It's the National Geodetic Survey. I'm on the same
I know
website.
what NOAA. I know what NOAA is. Yes.
Uh-huh. So this is still the
And
national.
but that's an argument between a flat Earth section and a globe Earth section,
Uh-huh.
elevation angles. But that's not really one that I get into because mathematically I could create any coordinate system I wanted to as long as the things I were basing my travel and time off of were always in the same position. It wouldn't matter the shape of the surface I'm on. I'd still get where the fuck I'm going.
So I hear a lot of arguments that you cannot measure elevation angles on a curved surface, and this proves that you can.
No, you're not going to be able to measure an elevation angle using curved lines, having a curved
Yep.
adjacent.
This.
If one or
Did
more
you
of
not?
those lines are curved, you won't get an angle.
Did you look at this? Did you look at the image?
I
Yeah,
just had a
he's
look at
saying what
I
he's
had a look at
saying
the
is
diagram.
you need a
Here, I'll
tangent
post the
line, a
diagram.
baseline. You need a baseline.
I'll
The
post
baseline
I'll
can't
post the
be
image.
curved to get a proper angle. It doesn't form a right angle with a curved baseline.
It does.
Yeah, but the actual tangent line moves with position, which would change the actual position.
Right, nobody's saying you can't get an elevation angle to a curved surface. Just not
That's
using the
exactly what I've been
curved
told multiple times.
surface. No, not. There's a difference.
You wouldn't be able to navigate on it because your angle to the elevation would always change. You got to understand what he's saying. The rate of change to the elevation angle due to the curved surface.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't work out. You'd end up 300 miles from where you should be, maybe more. I've been on Navy boats, but I'm not too hip on this sextant bullshit. You know, we just plotted a course and went from bay to bay, port to port.
Okay, well, I've presented all the evidence that I have for the night. So.
You should go against Quantum Racer on this topic.
Oh yeah, I know.
Were
Is that
you
graphic?
presenting
Is that
evidence for
is
or
that
against
is that
flat Earth?
does that graphic present reality?
Yes.
What?
Yeah. I mean, if
Oh really? I see
But-
line. I see lines. I don't see water. That water is not real. It's not wet.
Sasha, it's not water.
Oh
You have
come
seen
on,
the
girl.
meme.
If I draw you if I draw you cube on if I draw you cube, for example, on the paper and tell you, look, this is the cube, you will tell me, oh really, but that's cube. It's reality.
I will not tell you a cube is reality.
Wow. Wow, that was
Did you see
amazing.
did you see did you see the drawing? Your drawing on that graph. Did you see?
Wow.
That is not a drawing that I made.
That graph. Okay. Did you see the water?
The water is on the far left side. It says mean
Yeah.
sea level.
Is that waterfall? What's that?
Mean sea level.
Is that waterfall?
Is that
No.
waterfall? Okay.
No, that's not
Sea level,
waterfall.
Sasha.
I see blue. I see blue things is coming from the left angle and it's going up.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
That
Do you
that
see that
mean
in
line
Do you see that in
represents
nature
sea
apart of
level and
waterfalls?
That's not a
based on
waterfall.
spherical.
That's just
But
the.
what's that? What's that?
That's just the water level.
That's water level.
Yeah.
But you said that that's reality. It's not a
Mean sea
drawing.
level with a plumb line.
You
So
said
the.
that's reality. You said that's reality. It's not the water. It's not a drawing.
This is what we're doing. Are you trying to broom her out, making sure she has the best experience ever to make sure she comes back, Sasha? Is that what you're doing? It's working. It's
I'm just
clearly
trolling
working
her,
very
but-
well. Yeah. Sasha, I'm just talking about
Ixo.
Sasha.
In text,
Yeah.
she said.
Okay.
Ixo,
In
please.
text, she
Only,
said
only,
she measured the mean
Ixo,
sea
please.
line
Only one
with the
thing.
plumb line.
Only one thing, Exo. Is that you, Exo?
I cannot hear an absolute single syllable that you said, Mike, because of
I said, is it that you,
Sasha, and nobody else has actually learned anything in probably 7 years because of Sasha. That's okay. Let's let him continue to talk.
Read
No,
the
no,
text
nothing.
lobby, bro. You'll get it.
Only Exo. Be aware there is also good people, even if they are different. You know, be aware of that. Don't step on good people, and everything will be alright. Okay?
I'm just. Here we go.
Only that.
Alice,
But I
Alice?
appreciate that what you said. Okay, that I can have the space for speaking. And you're cutting.
Did I
your
just
mic
lag
is-
out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad
It's
right
so
now.
generous
yeah.
of
I bet
Exo.
they still want to listen to me instead of just kidding. So I'll be right back.
So what's up? I'm sorry.
I want to
Somebody
hear.
said
I want to
something.
hear more about the waterfall.
The waterfall. Which one?
The one in your diagram.
I want to know how to measure.
Well, I
mean
mean,
sea
it's not
level
really
with a plumb
my
line.
diagram.
That's new.
I mean, I didn't make it. It was like somebody else. So.
But it's all right, you know. For example, if that drawing showing you the sphericity of the Earth and an understanding of sphericity of the Earth for you, that's for me all right. For me, that's only drawing. That doesn't show anything. But if it's that for you showing that the proof for the globe, that's totally all right for me. And for example, now all your questions are how to say you are now on point. You don't need to question anymore anything because you got the proof. Now life can go on now. You can leave these people who thinks these stupid things or whatever.
Bro, I'm too high for that, man. She did good, man. Obviously, she's new to the debate, but she got in here with
No,
some
she's
old school
not. No,
motherfuckers
she's
and
not.
got
What are you
down.
saying? No, no, she's not.
No?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, I'm
No,
new to
no.
her in the debate. But
Yeah,
no,
I've
listen,
been around.
mean sea level isn't based off a plumb line. It's based on
No,
spherical
no.
geometry and the presupposed
But why
distance
do
to the
you
core.
why do you think it's
It's
presupposed?
based on a model. That's what the mean sea level is based on a model. But if I was to
Right.
go and want to know a reference to mean sea level when I was surveying, I would go to the sewer system and look for the average height of the sewer, and I would consider that zero sea level
Mm-hmm.
because we go off landmarks and survey. But that's just
Right.
a fictional level. We actually don't know the average level of the oceans like people think we perfectly do. The mean line is it's a product of the spherical model.
Why do you think we don't know the mean of the
Because
ocean?
because we can't even tell you exactly how many gallons of fucking water we got on Earth.
Why do you think
What
that?
makes you think we would know its consistent level? And what do we
Right.
reference the level to? The shoreline? We call
So
that high
why
tide and low tide.
right, why do you think that we don't know that?
I know we don't. We
But why
approximate
do you
based
think
on the model. I just told you what we do in survey. If you
so
mean we by surveyors, we do it because that's what's considered an appropriate approximation.
so we basically don't know what the approximate sea level is because of tides, right?
We
No,
know.
that's not what I said. I said
Owlishness. You know why we know?
we couldn't possibly know how
Why?
many gallons the oceans
Because of
hold at any one given
because
time.
for example
We would
because of
approximate that too.
because of elevation profile of your country, for example.
Uh-huh.
It's not like we know the weight
Oh,
of
that mean
Earth or the weight
everything,
of the ocean.
all hills, all mountains in distance are based on the sea level. That means two distances on the ground, let's say to
Uh-huh.
100 miles. They are based on sea level. They have no correction in a curvature under the ground. They should to have like on
No,
the sea level. Do you understand me?
That's funny
and
that you
that
got
sea
under the
level
ground.
Yeah,
is
because
based on the
if,
nearest
uh, bec-
oceanic
uh, uh,
shoreline.
let's put it like this: if you're coming from the sea, and then
Oh,
now
no.
let's say that this is curving and it's touching the shore and it's going through now through the continent, you still need to have the curvature, you know, that is going. It must go under the ground. You
That's so
understand me?
funny because that's
Yeah,
literally an exact argument that I've made before.
yeah, but that is elevation, you know, and all
So,
elevation
right.
profile, all mountains. I'm telling you now, hills are based on the sea level.
Yes.
That means the mountains in the middle of the USA, for example, it's let's say 1,000 meters height from the Pacific or from the Atlantic, from both,
Right.
because we are counting the sea level like a base, like one. But the distance is between two mountains, let's say in
Zero
200 miles.
elevation.
Zero elevation, you have only height, and you should have between that two distance that curvature what you have on the sphere, also on the land. That means you cannot measure the mountains if you have curvature down. You
Go,
have another
Gareth.
problem with rivers. Go to the delta of river. Imagine that only. And then you are now on delta, let's say Mississippi, and you want to measure the curvature to the source of Mississippi. That means in the opposite direction where is river going. And there is, do you know how much is bigger is Mississippi? You have curvature like I don't know, 5 miles of curvature to the source.
Yeah, the water's going uphill, eh?
Yeah.
Fucking nonsense, mate.
All right, y'all.
Come on,
Well,
is that you? Sorry, Horst.
Why does water roll downhill?
why does water roll downhill?
Because that is the direction of the water.
Yeah,
Young lady,
water.
do you know why water goes down hills? Do you know, rather than up hills?
Because there's
Yeah.
a curve. An
Yeah.
elevation change.
Like if you pour some water on the windscreen of your car, you know, it rolls down the windscreen. It doesn't go up the windscreen, does it?
No.
No.
Right.
And then it
So it
collects
goes.
in the little pool at the bottom of your windscreen, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
of gravity.
So if the Earth was a sphere, how would wouldn't the water just roll off?
No.
It kind of does because of gravity. If you pour it on your windscreen, yeah.
So it rolls off every surface you ever seen, but on
No,
the
he-
globe it just sticks to it, yeah?
Yeah, he means why doesn't it roll off a circle or a ball?
Oh,
Now,
because
water
of
rolls off
gravity.
balls. Water
Yeah,
rolls off every ball you ever
direction is
seen, but not
down.
the Earth. It sticks to it.
Every
Yeah.
direction is down or up
Yeah.
on a ball.
And it's the one thing we
Doesn't
can't actually see. We just have to believe. Yeah.
Yes.
The exterior surface of spheres are not cups. You know, it's not a container.
Well, it's like you have centrifugal force sort of holding the water in, combined with the gravity.
But wait a minute, like,
Okay,
young lady, if the Earth was
Centrifugal or
spinning and the water was on the
Right.
Earth, like you say, the
But wait a minute. But wait a
centrifugal
minute.
force would make all the water on the Earth go around the equator. Because if you spin a ball with water on it, all the water will move into the middle. So why don't we have a big river in the middle of the Earth and no water either side of it? Why do we have water everywhere?
River? Why is there a big lake in the middle of the Earth?
Why didn't
I
all
mean,
that
that's
force
kind of
move
like what the
all the
Can you
oceans
explain
are,
that?
right?
Can you explain why water is evenly distributed around the Earth and not
Can you
collected in the
explain
middle
why
if there was
there's not a
if there was spinning?
big lake in the middle? There should be a big lake in the
Can
middle
you
of the
explain that?
ball.
I
I
think
mean,
the
that's kind
lane
of
is
like what
heavier.
oceans
It
are.
would move to the center.
You're the
of
one who
equation.
mentioned centrifugal force. You mentioned that. So
Right.
why isn't there a big band of water around the equator then?
Well, she
I
said
there is.
torpedo, but
It's
she
like
meant
kind of
There
called
isn't.
the
There
ocean.
isn't.
Yeah.
There should be
So
all
there's
the water should be in the middle of the Earth. There should be no water at the top and the bottom of the Earth.
no, I
Belmont makes
mean
a good
like
point.
I think
the
all the
water
So can you
land.
explain that? Can you,
That was a
considering
very
you
tough
think the Earth is
answer.
spinning, considering you think the Earth has got water stuck to it, why isn't it in the middle of the Earth? Considering the forces applied
why
to
would
it.
it just be in
Why
the middle?
isn't it
Because
flying
if you
out
spin a
into
ball
space?
with water on it, all the water moves into the middle. You can do that in the laboratory.
Why
It's called
is the water
centrifugal
flying
force.
out into
What you've
space?
just said.
Why
So
does it
centrifugal
stick with
force
the
will
river?
will move the water into the middle. So why isn't that happening on Earth?
Because of gravity.
No, gravity would be go in the middle according to centrifugal force. So why isn't
why
that
not
happening?
because of penicillin?
Can you
Penicillin?
let her answer, please?
Yeah,
Can you
because
please answer the question?
penicillin
Don't deviate. Don't deviate, man. Don't stop deviating.
Yeah,
Penicillin.
because
So can you explain?
no,
Can you
because
explain why the water is not in the middle of the Earth, young lady?
she
Considering you
told
think
you
all the things you think.
she told you gravity.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
but gravity
because
should be making it in the middle then, according to her
No,
model.
gravity. I told her
because
penicillin because gravity.
She's the one who mentioned centrifugal force. She mentioned that.
Uh-huh.
She was the one who mentioned that word. So according to those
Yeah.
forces, the water should be in the middle of the Earth then, if it's spinning.
No.
Why
Not
would it be
only
in the middle?
it should
Because if you make a
So-
wet tennis ball and you spin it, all the water will be in the middle
Right.
of the tennis ball.
Grizzly, what does
No, it
centrifugal
wouldn't.
mean?
It would be all over.
So can you explain to me why the Earth doesn't have water only in the middle, why it's evenly distributed?
Grizzly, shut
Can
up.
you just
What
let
does
the lady answer the question, please? Stop deviating.
Grizzly,
Young lady, go ahead, answer the
What does
question.
centrifugal mean? What is centrifugal?
Young lady, can you please answer the question?
I've been trying, but yeah.
You know, you're saying gravity, but that's exactly the thing which would make it more in the middle then, because you're talking about centrifugal forces.
No.
What do you mean no?
So no, because when you have gravity that is holding all of the water in the spot that it is, like you said, water always finds its level, right?
If you spin a ball with water on it, all the water will compress into the middle because of
Grizzly, what the
centrifugal
fuck are you
forces.
talking
Why
about?
isn't
No,
that happening on the
because
Earth?
no, it's
Grizzly,
because if
no,
you
no. Gravity acts uniformly.
Can you just let the
across-
lady answer the question? Stop deviating. Go ahead, young lady.
It acts uniformly across the entire planet. No, this is just the
Shut
Yeah.
Young lady, please answer the
line of
question. Turn this guy
transparency.
down. Let her answer.
Yeah, can you let
Range
me?
edge.
Hold on.
Range.
Hold up.
Turn him
So
down. Answer the question.
Complaining motherfucker.
Yeah, why don't you talk to someone who
If
actually?
gravity is uniform, if gravity
Can you answer the question? Because you mentioned centrifugal
what are
forces. You mentioned that.
gravitational
So,
anomalies?
I know
so according to the
people keep
Young
talking
lady.
over me. I know.
I know,
People
but
keep talking over
you're
me.
dragging your feet. You don't really want to answer. You don't know what to say,
Yes,
do you?
I do. I keep trying to answer, and you keep talking over me.
People a
So
chance to answer.
Okay, so yeah, because she's
Yeah,
not
So
the
you
most
can't-
because
That's
she's not
fair.
like the
That's
most
fair.
articulate. Like,
this is
yeah,
so
Grizz, because
silly.
because maybe
everyone-
because she's not
So
because she's not the
can
most
you make your
articulate,
answer now? I know there's other trolls in
Yes.
here, but you just turn them down and
Yes,
ask.
I would love to. So basically, if water always finds its level, as you say, right? So if you have enough water, it would gravitate easily around the entire Earth. So you would still have water around everywhere because gravity is applied equally around the Earth. It isn't contained to the equator, as you say.
It isn't though.
But if you spin that ball, would the gravity be applied equally?
Yes.
No, it wouldn't be. There would be a greater amount of
No,
centrifugal
because it-
force in the middle.
No, there
Remember that
wouldn't be.
deflection? Remember
There
that
would.
deflection?
There would, which is why if you
No.
take any
Owlishness?
ball and you make it
Remember that
wet and then you
deflection?
spin it, it's going to be wet only in the middle after
But
you start spinning it.
But it's
Why were
not
you
like
appealing to why were you appealing to
therefore,
deflection of the vertical?
therefore, that's not the case. Gravity isn't
before,
applying
but
the
now
same
you
way
are.
on all spaces. According to
But
your
it-
model, gravity would be different.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Why were you
Okay.
appealing to deflection of the vertical earlier but not now?
What do you mean appealing to deflection of the vertical?
Appealing
That
to
was something
deflection of the
completely
vertical
different.
earlier.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was something completely different.
now
That was
now it's not
unrelated.
relevant. Now it's not relevant.
It was unrelated to
now
the
it's not
point
relevant?
that gravity is equal around the entire Earth. That's
So
why
is it
you
equal or
use
is it not equal? Is it equal or not equal? It's equal in some instances, not in others. Like what's the go?
correct. So you use that to determine it on different elevations, right? But water is always at the same
Yeah,
elevation.
we use
So
that. That's why we call them anomalies.
so you
Wait a minute.
so water
Wait. How can water be at the same elevation if we're in a sphere?
because like you guys always claim, water finds its what?
But according to your
Level.
model, it doesn't always find its level. It makes a sphere. It makes a curve, according to you,
Yes.
in your model.
Yeah, it always finds its level. However, so it's at
Not
the
in your
same.
model, it doesn't.
Well, it does. It's always
In your
at the
model, it
same-
doesn't.
It does, because that's why it's
In
called
your model, it makes
equal.
hills and mountains around the world.
Right.
Owlishness, it doesn't. I'm sorry.
Well,
In your model, the Earth never makes a flat surface. It's always curving.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how the.
So you may be wrong, maybe.
gravity. Well, gravity is holding it down, and then it's always at the same level because gravity is affecting all of the water equally.
But according to your model, water is not at the same level.
Only because of tides, right?
Do you know what that is absurd what you said now? Gravity it's holding a water leveled, and you are saying that water is leveled, but gravity is holding. Practically, you are saying that we have gravity with a flat surface.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there's another problem if you're gonna bring in
oblate?
tides in the moon, right?
Isn't it
Because
oblate
the
because
Barry
of the
Center.
uneven distribution
Oh, sorry,
of
Battlemod, I
energy?
didn't hear you. You're coming in really low, so it's really easy for people to talk
Oh,
over you. Sorry, man.
it's cool. It's cool. It's
I was
cool.
just
Is
gonna
it
mention the
real?
I was
Barry
just
Center.
waiting.
Mhm.
Go.
So
You guys continue on. Go.
do we have a specific question, or are we still talking
Yeah,
about
Since it's true, I
you're just
don't
water?
dragging your
understand why
feet.
you guys are
Yeah,
like
you're
being.
just
I'm
dragging your
not
feet, young lady,
dragging.
over and over. You
Not
are.
really, because I've answered
Yeah,
the
really,
question multiple
really.
times.
You haven't answered anything. You've just been saying things out loud in the hope that it sticks, and it's not sticking because you're naive and ignorant on this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Honestly,
okay.
can I ask you something? If you don't give a possibility, Brian, you said the level is curved somehow because of gravity. Do you know that you're not giving possibility for the real level?
So
Because if his level behaving that it's flat, you know, and if you observe and measure like that, and you're saying that it's curving, there is no possibility for a level to be. There is no opposite possibility.
Yeah, a level is not possible on a globe.
Yeah. But not
it
that
is.
only, there is no possibility for level in the world because if his level is curving and if it's observably and measurably flat, it's curving. That means there is no possibility for the flatness.
So
Well,
if you
there
have
is, of course.
a ball,
What is the
right?
possibility of flatness if you measure something flat and level and that it's telling you that it's curving? What
It's
is that
from you
possibility
being
for
the
flatness?
reference
So
point. There are things that
can
are
I?
flat, no?
Well,
Yeah,
so what I'm
yeah, but
saying
we are
is,
saying that, but we are saying that, but the other people are saying that it's curved. That means there is no possibility for flatness.
I'm saying from the reference point of a human being, there are like flat surfaces, obviously, like large flat surfaces.
Okay,
Because
can you
the
tell
the
me?
the Earth is so big,
Does that?
right?
Okay, tell me this. Does sphere has flat spots?
Zoidberg, we're
It
talking about the
depends on the
actuality, not your
perspective, but
perspective.
sure.
We're not talking about your perspective. We're talking
Does,
about the actuality.
does,
Are there actual
you,
flat
you,
places
you,
on a sphere?
yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
There's not.
No.
You're not understanding this.
No,
If
I
I give you
There
understand.
is
a
no
sphere,
flat.
can you show me anything which is flat on it?
Yes.
Where would that be? Go on. I've just given you a tennis ball. Show me where it's flat on it.
So
A
if
very
you
small part of the tennis ball
yeah,
No,
would be
it
flat.
is not. It is not.
it is. It is.
It is
Are
not.
you people
It
literally
is
this
not.
dishonest? All right,
Yes.
guys. If I give you a bent line, like a really imagine I got a pen and I drew a squiggly line. Is there going to be any
Yeah.
straight parts on that line?
Yes, very tiny
Yes.
straight parts.
Now you're just being dishonest. Now you're just giving
It's
up
fine.
now. I
You
suppose.
can
I mean,
demonstrate this
not
Okay, hold
yourself.
on, hold on,
really.
wait.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay,
mathematically,
guys.
wait,
I haven't been
hold on,
speaking
hold on.
today. I haven't spoken today.
Hold on. So mathematically, yeah, you can, yeah, if you take the derivative of like a curved point, we don't have to get too deep into it, but like you would identify a tangent to a line to that point, which would appear to
Yep.
be a straight line. However, Grizzly is correct that mathematically there is no truly flat point on a sphere. However, there are still apparently flat locations on a oblate spheroid like Earth,
Do you know
in
what
which
like a
in which you would
Now,
notice something to be flat. But yeah, even
oh,
but the
okay.
point is
Do you know
Okay.
what
Can I
like
ask?
I still
integrals are?
disagree.
Can
But
I ask
at the end of
another
the day,
question
though,
then?
at the end of the day,
Okay.
it's still it
Can
appears
I
flat.
ask another question? If it's how to say the space of the land, if it's 4,000 kilometers squared, is that enough?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it 4,000 miles squared enough flats to say this is not possible to be on the sphere with this given size?
4,000 miles square. I mean kilometers squared. I'm not sure where you're getting that number.
How big is that?
Miles.
Are you
Where I'm
talking
getting that
about
number?
like
I'm getting that number from the lake, the size of one lake in Bolivia.
I don't know what a lake in Bolivia has to do with this. I'm not
I'm
really sure.
I will tell you now. It's a 4,000 miles squared salt lake in Bolivia. It's changing elevation 1 meter in 4,000 miles squared.
Mhm.
The radius of Earth is 4,000.
No, it's not.
Oh, really? It's 3,959 miles.
Right, that's not 4,000, but that's the radius.
Yeah, that's even worse. The bigger.
So the radius is
That's
not the
where
circumference.
circumference is 25,000 miles.
Right, so your lake fits well on 55,000 miles. The radius is not the circumference.
25,000 miles. We have
Yes, so
4,000. But listen this now. We have 25,000 miles of the circle. On that circle, you have the 4,000 square miles of the flatness.
it's not flat. You just said that there was a deviation of, what did you say?
Deviation. Okay, let's put it like this. This is like a 1 meter by 4,000 miles. You have the 4,000 miles changing elevation 1 meter.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
1 meter. Yeah, 1 meter.
But you
I will
have a
give you.
deviation, right?
But no, you don't have deviation. You have change elevation only 1 meter. This is the biggest mirror in the world. You can go there. You can go and watch videos how beautiful it is.
Okay.
Because it's giving the reflection of the sky, how it is, the reflection of the ground and the sky
So
together.
1 meter is 3.5 feet.
1 meter, it's something like that.
Okay, so there's a difference. I'm not sure where this deviation is. Are you saying from end to end it's a difference of that, or
Yeah.
can you post the source for that?
Okay. But if you can type it, you will find immediately on type South Bolivia something UYU. It's starting Uruni, something like that.
Okay, I'm not really sure what you're referring to, but if you post a link, I can read further into it.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, guys, but it's 4:30 a.m. here in EST, and I gotta run. It's time for bed.
All right.
Hasta la vista.
I envy people who are going to be born like 100 years from now, who are just not going to have these debates because they're going to be like going back and forth from the fucking moon. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
All right, you guys have a great night.
Yeah, unfortunately,
or a
that
great day
doesn't
for you.
prove shit.
Yeah, they said that 50 years ago, and we still haven't gone to the moon again. So.
Like
Chris,
level,
I'm
like
51 and they
this
told my
debate,
parents that
this
the
argument
kids would
just
be
won't.
playing
This
up there.
argument just won't exist a century from now. It just
We
won't
were
happen.
supposed to have a Taco Bell on the moon 50
Yeah, I know, but
years ago. What the fuck?
yeah, I mean, by
Yeah,
that point, everyone will be so heavily vaccinated and so heavily autistic, and you won't even care about the truth by that point. You might be right on
His
that.
dumbass will think he's
Yeah,
on the
basically.
moon.
I mean, that sounds about right.
Hold on a
Everybody
second.
will be
Let's not
autistic.
get
Yeah, that's how it
TOS.
works.
Hold on a second. We
Let's
can't
say,
say that.
okay, we've
That's
arrived at the moon.
misinformation. That's
They'll all
TOS.
get off like this.
Oh, so
Shush.
telling the truth is now TOS. Well,
Shushy
pardon
wushy.
me.
Yes,
Telling
shushy
the truth
wushy.
is
That's
not
TOS.
No, it's not. Literally
Oh,
fake
yes,
stars.
it is. It's
That's a
in
way to win a
Discord
debate.
community
Spreading
guidelines.
medical misinformation is against TOS and the rules of the server.
Blah
Yeah.
blah 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 blah.
Sorry, your
Medical
American
I do
rights
not
don't
go
apply
blah
here.
blah blah.
TOS. I got a copy of that TOS
Please
right here. If
read-
you guys want to read this section out loud to me.
It's okay, everyone knows the truth.
community guidelines.
What
Please
is
read the
against
Discord.
US?
Medical misinformation.
It's just the
this
fact
is
that if admins understand or know that server TS is being broken here, then they'll just endanger the room. That's the point, I think.
Notice
Yeah,
how you
so
care about TOS more than
basically-
the truth, Zoidberg. Notice.
That's sort of that's
can't-
messed up if you think about it.
I'm with
Okay, we want to do our
This
best.
Because they
to
don't want the
let
server
TOS
deleted, and if there's a room that is breaking TOS, that might endanger the server, so they'll just nuke the room
Discord
instead
is
of allowing the.
specific about misinformation in their TOS description. It's medical misinformation. And
Yeah,
health
somebody mentioned
Correct.
vaccines and autism.
Right.
Well-
we don't need any of that, please.
None of that, please.
Mentioning
Okay.
isn't given.
Especially
Somebody
in a
said-
conversation that's recorded. So let's not. Thank
Well, let's
you.
just change the subject from here then. Let's go back to the subject at hand.
All right, you guys have a great great night. For the Aussies, have a great day, and for everyone else around the world, have a great day.
It was nice to meet you, but I hate long goodbyes.
So I mean, the question is supposed to be, can you show gas pressure without a container? And you're just showing it to us with a container. So I guess that's a nah.
So
Well, we started with my question, to be fair, and then we answered your questions, and now you're trying to jump back to your questions again, which makes me very confused.
Well, if it's just still a no, then it's a no.
well, you can't simulate.
Let's.
Sorry, let the lady go.
Yeah, go on. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can't simulate gas pressure in a container on Earth because it's still under the same gravitational pull as Earth. So you can't
Mike.
simulate.
We're not talking about simulating gas pressure. We're just saying we
No,
have
no,
gas
yeah,
pressure.
yeah, yeah.
If you
So-
discreetly
so the
measure gas
experiment-
pressure,
So the experiment of putting, I think you were talking about sulfur hexafluoride in a container, if it would disperse into the atmosphere, right?
that's not what I
It
was
will.
talking about. That's what these
I think
guys
that was
wanted
what
to know.
Jedi was talking about.
Yeah,
it will
yeah,
over
yeah.
time.
So
And it'll also
you,
disperse quite quickly if it's in a vacuum chamber. Try that in a vacuum chamber.
well, it's still under the same gravitational pull as Earth. You would have to.
What, the one that you're
Yeah.
trying to demonstrate with a container?
That's the belief bit again.
I don't understand this because
I
we're
don't
giving
I don't
you the
understand what you're trying to say
experiment-
either, because I don't think we're describing something real at the moment. Or I
Well,
shouldn't say
this
we.
is
I don't
why-
think you're describing something that maps onto reality.
It does.
This is why.
What
we
do you
give
think happens?
Vacuum chamber on the Earth. So we exclude and take out all of the gas on the vacuum chamber on the Earth, and then we put the gas into the vacuum chamber. There's all your gravity that you need, but the gas moves freely and randomly in all directions. Isn't affected by the gravity of the Earth, is it? It moves freely and
on.
randomly in all directions. And when I take the lid off the container, the gas will be able to leave that environment because there's nothing physical keeping it there. We've given you all the attracting mass that you need here on the Earth. So every time you say we can't do it on the fucking Earth, what are you talking about? You've got the gravity of the Earth to be affecting the gas. So when we've got a vacuum chamber, we put the gas back into the vacuum chamber. The gas is moving freely and randomly around that vacuum chamber. What are you talking about?
Let's give Globe Guy the chance to explain to Globe Girl why he thinks she's wrong, not to stir the pot. Globe Guy. Who's the Globe Guy we were just talking about?
Yeah. If you have sulfur hexafluoride.
Oh, sorry. Wait. Crypto, what are you saying?
Just quickly, after MPX and Owlishness have talked, I wanted to ask both of them an off-topic question.
Okay. MPX, your point to Owlish.
Just because they're under the same gravitational field doesn't mean that they won't mix.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you can't simulate that experiment by saying, "Oh, it's gonna disperse into the atmosphere," because obviously it will, because it's still under the same gravitational pull as all the rest of the atmosphere, right?
What is that experiment?
What?
What is
Right,
that?
hold on,
experiment?
guys, let them
you
go.
said that, but didn't
What you're-
clarify.
Bro, what you're talking about, you can't simulate something on Earth that is already happening on Earth, right? So like,
Say what?
Now let them go.
I'd be examining a phenomena that's happening on Earth, and I need.
Correct.
I'm asking for
Yeah.
an explanation on flat Earth and why that phenomena is happening. I'm not simulating something. I'm actually doing something.
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like this is
Well, you said
round
I can't
Earth.
do that, so I got very confused.
This is
What's
round
round
Earth.
I caught the punchline, man. That's a corker.
I agree. I believe
Well,
that things are the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Well,
This is
pizzas,
gravity.
pizzas and coins are round as
This is a
well.
question. You know what's funny? It's really funny to me that the mod icon for this channel is a round Earth. That's hilarious to me.
Quick, divert.
That is very funny.
Deflect.
That's high level comedy right there.
Irony, yeah.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Let's go on tour.
Funny stuff.
Irony, yeah.
So,
Okay, well that was a fun interaction. You go,
Anywho.
Crypto.
Yeah.
Owlishness, I just wanted to know, with Halloween coming up, would you consider renaming yourself to Howlishness?
No, I have
Good
had
question.
names like on the 24/7 Flat Earth server. I have been named Clownishness.
Ooh, that's good.
Right. I was named Clownishness for a while, and then I was named Capishness for a while, for right before I was banned.
And here you're going to be known as.
Howlish.
And here you may become known as the modern woman. Here, simply.
The what?
Yeah, like
Hold on. Crypto.
I mean, it's
Trying
just
to get
it's
in.
seasonal, so I thought you might want to embrace the time of year. But anyway, we can move.
I'm surprised you
Can
weren't
I just-
responsible for make those name changes.
And if you're angry, we could call you Scowlishness. Who's
Yeah.
hot mic?
I don't know. I'm sorry, Jedi. I didn't hear you. What did you say?
So I was just asking Crypto. Usually he's responsible for the majority of name changes on the 24/7. I'm quite surprised that he didn't change your name.
I can't do that here, and I'm very upset about it.
Yeah, that's annoying me too. We've missed some good
But you didn't
opportunities.
change the name to
One day,
Clownishness, no?
Well,
One
I
day.
can change my
That's
own
fine.
name, so it's not as fun.
Change it to the modern woman or a modern woman. Better.
Why?
Then people will identify you to what you really are.
What?
Also, I wanted to ask MPX an even more off-topic question.
Yes, King.
I'm a little bit worried about you, MPX, because first of all, you're the only Glober that we talk to that sounds like you have any testosterone whatsoever. The second thing I wanted to ask is,
God.
with your popcorn consumption, will you be making sure to hit the gym later to burn all those calories off?
No, I'm a Discord mod. I intentionally get as fat as possible.
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
I predicted the future. I want a gold sticker.
The
for that.
life.
This is the same dude that DM'd me and asked me if there was a connection between gay people and flat Earth, or round Earth rather.
Oh no, what I actually asked you was, why does it seem to be so many LGBT people in the Globe Earth community on Discord? That was my actual question.
Right.
Well,
Which
I think a
is
majority
still
of people are in Globe Earth, so
Yeah, so that's like a crazy
So
question.
that covers pedos and rapists too.
But have you guys
All
not
right,
noticed?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Am I the only one who noticed that? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's an overrepresentation.
An overrepresentation?
I guess.
It's like half the modern day.
How many people? Hold on. How many people believe in flat Earth in the world?
Half the modern day debate on flat Earth have two Globers with guys wearing wigs. Let's just put it that way.
Guys, if you look, actually, homosexuals tend to be not very rebellious at all. They generally go with the government order most of the time. So.
All right, we've already got a petition to take us down, guys. We need to tread carefully. And
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a petition to
they've
take you
started a
down?
petition. They've
Why?
started a petition because we're so evil or something. I don't know. I don't know what
Okay,
the
I
hell
don't
goes
think
through your
there's-
globy minds.
I would never sign a petition like that. Sorry, like there's no
That's
problem.
pretty lame, right? Petition to
because-
stop the flat earthers saying things about the curve.
Because
Yeah,
we're
that's the
taking a
reason.
It's so
we're taking
triggering.
adult
They're
Santa
taking my
Claus.
ball away.
Yes, we're taking adult Santa Claus away from them. They're mad.
Petition to save Santa Claus. That's right.
I want my ball back.
isn't it funny that we were just talking about the LGBT and the Globe link, and it's like, on the one hand, they don't want you to take away their balls, and on the other hand, they do.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
See, they don't really want to compromise and give you one ball. You see, it's all or nothing.
Okay, well, I
Yeah,
think that anybody who wants to shut you guys down are like little whine babies. Like they need to stop.
They are little wine babies who need to stop. Thank you.
You should sign their petition. I'll sign it too, just to show how useless it is.
No, I'm not gonna do it. I don't want to sign it.
But it is a sign of how badass this channel is. How many channels you've been seeing getting petitions about them? We've got little fan channels popping up on the side, like talking about us.
Yeah, like
Really?
barnacles.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like
People change
barnacles,
their
man.
names.
Have you noticed
People
that
with
at this
the
point, the
sense.
Oh, you're right. There's a 24/7 Globe Earth channel.
And a 24/7 queer channel too.
Is there?
Yeah.
Yes, Cyclone. Question: have you noticed that a lot of these anti-flat earthers they come across more as like groupies than they do like people who
Yeah,
actually
they're
hit
fans.
data?
They're like
Yeah,
the
they're
guys
actually
who start up. It's like the guys who start up a podcast about a podcast, and they just talk about an episode each week. And like, did you see when they said this? They're just fans.
Yeah, like the reaction videos you see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Reaction.
What's
I was going to say that.
What's even more funny too is like you'll see the down below where you can join and create your own channel. You'll see down there like flat earthers are retarded, flat earthers are X. So
Yeah.
they're already like spurging,
They're
even if they
mad.
can't.
True.
Yeah. And I
They're
know
mad.
people talk about, hey, they should be banned or they should be silenced. You're like, well, you can't do that because if you guys do extinction bus,
Licking my bed.
just ignore it. Just ignore the behavior. Don't give it any attention, and
bed.
it'll fade away. Once they realize they're not getting a reaction out of you, then they'll
Dude.
stop doing it.
They can
Well,
barely
I like
figure
to
out
go
what
further.
a ball is.
I
They're
like
not
to,
going to figure out that.
I like to go
Oh, yeah,
further
I
and
suppose.
highlight it so that everyone can see how pathetic the behavior is, and then that seems to make them stop.
Oh yeah, that too. I guess. Yeah, I was thinking more in the sense of like if it's
But
not
that's just
over
me.
the top. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Look at
I know
that.
just
you're.
enjoy
Number
trolling them.
two. Number 2, right there. That's wild. And when
Are we
did
number
this
2 now?
this VC? Yeah, when did this VC start? Like 3 weeks ago? Not even 4 weeks.
No, not even 3. About 2 and a bit. I
So
think.
wild.
Yeah, one of the admins was telling us that this is now on course to be the #1 room in the entire server. And
It is.
we've got
Can
it.
I, can I have to change the name of the server to 24/7 Discord server with associated rooms?
It's funny when people
Right?
say, "Oh, flat Earth is dying, flat Earth is dying." We turn up on a politics server within 3 weeks with the #1 fucking VC. Yeah, so dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at all the other channels are completely dead. Like only the guest rooms have anyone in them. The other ones are just dead. Like
Yeah, and everybody wants us shut down too.
But guys, the Ukraine war, Putin.
Yeah, that's actually funny. That's a funny point you made. It's like, oh, it's so dead that we need to kill it. Hold on. If it's dead, it's not. We're not zombies. Like you don't need to.
Well, check it out, wait, guys, and in the politics room, they're talking about Edward Snowden.
No wonder we're the top room.
Yeah, it's a
Especially-
contradiction.
Especially if you are not there in that war and you are speaking about that war. That's the most greatest thing in the world. If you speak about war and you are not even put your step and you don't know what is going on there.
Yeah, the guys up in the
You're
other channels.
effectively.
Sorry.
Sorry. Go.
I was gonna say, yeah, the guys up in the other channels are just like, guys, I'm starting to think that Lee Harvey Oswald may not have been acting alone.
Hey man, I'm enjoying the ride, man. While we're still while it's still here, Who knows how long till it gets banned again? We just create another server, blah blah blah, over and over.
What's up, Crypto?
Oh yeah, was it Get Big Ed that said that? Oh, Sasha. Sorry, I always confuse them. Yeah, it's like literally you've got people discussing the propaganda that they were allowed to hear from their government's news sources. It's like discussing whether the Ultramarines or the Blood Angels would win in a war. You're taking information that isn't real and fighting over it. So dumb.
WWE.
Ultramarines, duh.
And only people who are there, they know the real information, but you will not find out that information because no one really put on the news. That means in some village died 20 people because some guy killed them. But that's not interesting for the mainstream media because that's not interesting, and you will never ever find out that the village killed 20 people. But people from that village will know that there is that 20 people.
Yeah, it doesn't follow the narrative. That's why.
Bro, if you
Just to
can't
let you
even
know.
find out the accurate body count of your girlfriend, there's no way you're going to figure out what's happening in the fucking Ukraine. It's never going to happen. So people discussing it are idiots.
Hey, real quick, so Cyclone, can you repost that video of them looking at Venus and it dancing like a trumpet. I was trying to find it last night, and I couldn't find it. I'm gonna save it.
2 seconds.
Well,
Thanks, bro.
Venus dancing like a trumpet.
Oh my god, it's crazy. If you haven't seen it, Jedi,
Dude, when you see
No.
this, you are gonna shit.
I have to save it this time.
I don't want to shit.
Yeah, I was about to say it'd be really inconvenient for me to shit right now. Can you just keep
Well,
that to yourself?
You
That is
will
disgusting, sir.
post it.
Here you go.
I mean,
Hold on,
personally, I
but-
don't have a problem with any single one of you. I like you guys.
Thank you,
So.
Owls.
Trigger warning. Say this photo of Venus is a trigger warning. May cause, verbal diarrhea.
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the
Yeah.
bot on 7. I thought I already had.
What was it, like 5 minutes in, or
Like
4
start
minutes?
at 2 minutes. Start at 2.
Yeah, 2
Oh,
minutes.
okay.
Yeah, 2
Yeah,
minutes.
Owlishness. I feel like Owlishness, you misgendered me because my pronoun isn't guys, it's gulag. So if you're going to address me, can you please use my pronoun of gulag?
I believe guys is a general term. Is a collective term.
I just feel so
wild. Sorry, I'm looking at the video.
Yeah, it's like a collective term. Like.
See,
Like
what
I said,
happens?
I have to go buy a P, whatever the new P is, P1050 or whatever, the newer one. I have to get the 4K one.
As an
4K
avid
one.
fan of communism, I do admire your use of collective terms. So.
Oh God.
Right.
Dude, man, you bust out of the communism closet real fast there, real glee.
Yeah. I just love collectivism. It's great.
Bro, the hinges came off the closet doors when you just came out of the communism closet.
Listen, man, I'm just trying to be left wing enough for this server so they don't ban me like the old was. My main was.
This is why this conversation is so powerful, because it really goes to the heart of the people who accept the contradiction, where they can have an ever-expanding, contracting universe. They can have flat that appears curved, or flat that appears curved to them, just because you throw in a couple graphics or whatever.
You
Like
got
government
air that's
always.
going up.
Oh yeah, government that always lies to them, but tells the truth about one thing: the nature of creation. So when you get into this thing, they start thinking like the stuff they do. All these tactics. They come in here trying to play soundboards that have someone spouting racial slurs and then clipping it and saying, "Hey, this is what the mods are doing. You need to shut the room down." When they're the ones doing that, but
Wait,
they
is
want
that
to
really
blame
what
you.
people are doing?
Yeah.
They're coming in. Listen to this. They're coming in, and they're doing this thing where it looks like they're muted. Somehow they've got an exploit or something that it makes it look like they're muting, but they can still play a soundboard. So they go on mute and they play a soundboard of like someone saying some mad racist shit, record it, and then send it to folks saying this is what we're saying in here to try and get us shut down. I guess the petition isn't getting much signatures.
Well, I mean, you guys already recorded, so you can just play the whole recording.
Yeah, that's the part they didn't
but
know.
we shouldn't have to, I mean, how pathetic is that?
That's the one thing
No,
they
right.
didn't know, that we were recording too. This is why it's so funny that they think flat earthers are so stupid they can't set up a live stream, they can't use Discord, they can't, and yet here they are playing these really dumb games, and they fucked it up. They can't use a soundboard. They can't even record it or do it right. And then they expose themselves, and then you're like, oh, it's still flat earthers' fault. Well, why? Why would it be? Why is it my fault for what you did? You can't even take responsibility for what you did. How am I supposed to take responsibility for what? I have no idea what you do and why you do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're just describing the lower end of the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? So where people are kind of too dumb to realize that they're actually dumb, and then they kind of assume that. So people who are much more intelligent than them, they kind of see them as alien and weird, and because they're alien and weird, they must be more stupid, because that's how they also see people who are lower than them, right? So you're just describing like the lower end of the Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah, it's kind of like I like when they come in here and they underestimate flat earthers. They think you're like a sub third grade education level. Because I'm like that's like that Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Let your enemy underestimate you. Because you've already got an advantage right there.
Excuse me, can you pronounce it correctly?
Was it Sun Tzu?
Sun Tzu.
Oh, say again. Sorry.
I'm just fucking with you, but
Oh,
that's
okay.
actually the correct pronunciation.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like Pablo Pissico in
No,
Galapagos.
it is Sun Tzu, but depends on the dialect of Chinese you're using.
Yeah, this one time I was dating this girl who was really into artwork, and I kept saying like Pablo Pissico. She would just be like, she was like, "What are you doing?
Was he
Stop
Mexican?
saying that."
Vincent Van Gogh.
Oh yeah, like all of them. Every single one of them. I had some sort of funny pronunciation for it.
I'm sure she loved you, bro.
Yeah, it didn't last that long. Oh, this is a side story, but each time she'd ask me, "Hey, what does this mean?" I'd always say it symbolizes man's struggle against the universe. She said, "You said the same thing the last 8 pieces." I'm like, it's just what I'm getting. I'm just getting it symbolizes, the man's struggle against the universe.
Hey, if I know I'm dumb, am I at like the top of the Dunning-Kruger effect? I'll take that. Just kidding.
No, you aren't.
In a way, you Dunning-Kruger the Dunning-Kruger effect.
I don't know, actually. That's a good question, because obviously you know what it is, right? So I don't want to patronize you, but
The main part of
if you're like
Yeah, I did have
retarded,
to look it up though.
well, I'll just say it very
Go
quickly.
ahead.
So
Go ahead. Yeah.
it's the tendency for people to, when they're below average, tend to overestimate their ability relative to that thing, and then when they're above average, they tend to underestimate their ability in that thing. Right. So this is most notable in just intelligence, because we can quantify it, I guess.
Yeah, I think.
But it exists in all sorts of different ways. But if you're stupid and you know you're stupid, I suppose you'd still be on the lower end. But it might be that you're underestimating just how stupid you are.
And it's too where you base your analysis of what a misconception of other people. That's the main key. The second part of that people kind of forget. Like where all the drivers on the road, they all think they're above average, and every other driver is below average. Because they're doing a false, like an illusionary superiority. Instead of just rating their driving skills to their driving skills, how have you improved? Have you decreased? What skills have you gained? They take an unnamed third person and they say, "I'm better driver than that guy."
Right. None of
And
these
that's
people
when they
know how to
go
drive.
Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah.
It's when you see these guys go around asking girls like, "Oh, how would you rate yourself on 1 to 10?" And like half of the girls say 10. It's like statistically impossible that half of the girls are 10s, even on a standard bell curve distribution.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have been an anomalous sample with lots of hotties. Unlikely, right? Probably not.
I don't know. I know I'm ugly as dog shit, but at least I'm funny sometimes.
At least they find you handy.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it was like, okay.
But the good news is chicks don't care about your looks. They care about your height and a couple of other things, but your looks not so much.
I'm not talking about men. I'm talking about women. So they will ask women what they consider themselves to be in terms of attractiveness. Half of them will say 10, right? Which is completely impossible.
Yeah, for sure. No, we heard you. Yeah, we heard you say that. Yeah.
It's probably more like 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000.
Yeah. Well, we live in a world now, as you know, and so people overestimate their look, especially chicks that have always been pampered, told they're beautiful,
You're so beautiful.
And I'll bet you a lot of dudes. I bet you it's the flip reverse for dudes. A lot of dudes will probably rate themselves lower than what they actually are because they've been told they're ugly by society.
I mean, in general, women are more pleasant to look at than men. Just saying.
For a man, yes.
Yeah, for
exactly. Yeah.
And some women.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, you guys see that guy post? A guy post in the chat. He's like, you flat earthers not believe this exists? And then he just posted a gas pressure gradient Wikipedia page again.
That's what they do, bro.
It's like, come on, dude.
Oh, dude, were you here yesterday? There was a guy in here. He was literally copy and pasting links from a Google search he did on the fly. He wasn't even reading it. He was just copy pasting it in yesterday.
Yep. I remember that.
Like 8 of them or something. I know that a lot.
Yeah, he was talking. I think it was Crit talking about spherical excess, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I forget now exactly, but it was just like just literally anything he could find, like just haphazard. It's just so disgusting, so dishonest.
Yeah, what was that? He was like talking about spherical excess, comparing it to like this gap in a map or whatever. And then if you look and you take all the spherical excess, it actually turns the world into a potato. Yeah, real good proof there.
Yo, someone started a petition to try to shut down this chat room.
Yep, we were
I
just
don't know if
talking
you
about it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that or not. It's funny.
What do you think about that?
I think there's no chance it's gonna get shut down. So the owners probably love the traffic. I don't know why they would.
Yeah, but isn't it such a bitch move to start a
Right.
petition to try and get people shut down for discussing the Earth?
Could you guys explain why you think a black swan debunks another black swan?
This black swan
I
has
mean,
spots on it.
no geometric globe horizon in either picture. What are you trying to do with this exactly? I mean, there would have been a geometric horizon in both if that were a thing, but there isn't one in either. So it's just more evidence against yourself. Well, thanks, I guess.
What did Owlish just say? Did you know that oil rigs actually get more wavy the further out it goes? How wavy are we talking?
Well, Jupiter's saying that's not a black swan. Yeah, it is. The horizon's further than the geometric distance given by the globe.
So clearly you can see in the black swan photo that
Which one? The Globers are posting all kinds of them for us. Which one are you talking
I don't
about?
like the let me get the classic. Let me get
The classic. I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me get the classic. So like if we check the classic photo, we can see that the oil rig, it gets wavier the further you go out. So that means yeah. So that means the further out the oil rig gets, it gets more like bendy, right?
Not
What does
necessarily.
that have to do with anything?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
mean-
I was just observing what is
Okay.
there. I was observing what is in
Let's
front of my
explain
eyes.
what that is, shall we? Shall we explain
Well,
what
I got
that
a,
is?
I got
why
a
it
quick,
looks
I got a
wavy?
quick question before you go
Okay.
ahead and do that. Does anything about the wavy oil rig out there in the distance tell you that beyond 9.4 mile horizon is actually somewhere around 1 miles?
I don't know, but if the flat Earth is true, then oil rigs get wavy the further they go out.
Well, thanks for that.
That is completely irrational. That is so illogical. So the reason why it looks wavy is because there's moisture in the air. Okay, there's water molecules all in the air. Okay, and depending on the temperature and the amount of moisture in the air, it's going to cause that wavy effect, like looking through water. It's just the atmosphere. It has nothing to do with curvature. There's no curvature there.
Correct.
The point is
So-
curvature. So what does a wavy oil rig or a bendy crane have to do with the fact that there's no curvature?
That is
So-
a distortion caused by heat, different temperatures.
Right. Exactly. That's how that works. So you're familiar with Fata Morgana?
That is a oil
Absolutely familiar with
platform,
Fata Morgana.
and it has furnaces, yeah, and
What?
It has furnaces, yeah, where they release heat and smoke.
Sasha, please. Please, Sasha. Let's not.
That's get beget, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh
Get
no!
beget.
Please beget. Please.
Please what?
Please, can we not go on about furnaces in the distance?
He's talking about why it's wavy. It's heat being
It's an
produced.
oil platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have all sorts of equipment
You would be able
there,
to see the heat from
and
the other one
and
as
that
well, if that
is,
were the case.
listen, that is the exhaust of a machine, yeah, shooting out smoke and heat, and that heat
Or
that's rising, you
It does.
don't see the smoke, but because it's mostly carbon monoxide and stuff like that, but
It
they
doesn't.
burn.
It doesn't matter.
That's useful
Owlishness is
info.
just
That's
trying to
useful
stay
info.
away.
But just
Owlishness is just trying to stay
really
away
quick.
from the fact that there's no curvature.
Yeah, exactly. Just keep in mind
Yeah.
that she already did say that the waviness of the oil rig does nothing to prove the geometry of the horizon that we did not see. So it's just a total
Therefore,
red herring conversation.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
we're having a pointless
that's just
conversation,
a
an absolutely useless
it's a local
conversation. Thank you,
distortion.
Owlishness.
You're welcome. Or we can talk about environmental diffraction, which you meant. Please don't mute me.
Please.
How does it prove the curvature? How does it prove any curvature?
Because you have environmental diffraction, as you were describing, right?
So those are some
So
words.
therefore, even though you can see the oil rig,
Do you mean refraction, not diffraction?
yeah,
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
atmospheric refraction.
yeah, refraction. My bad.
Atmospheric
So you would
refraction.
have
I actually have a good example of it. In the
right.
chat.
So you know that when you're driving down a road, right, and you see it looks like water on a hot road.
That heat wave.
Because there's a difference between the air temperature and the ground temperature, right? So it looks like the road is floating up, the water is floating above the road, but it's not.
This is a useless conversation because it's not
Why is it-
proving anything about curvature. It doesn't prove that water convexes on the surface. It does not prove that.
Right, but I'm kind of trying to
but-
describe
right,
to you
but-
how you can see something further away than is
Right,
actually
but-
that you should be able to
right.
see, right?
But. So you constantly use this phrase, right, but. So you agree, and then you say but, and you immediately start to disagree, right? Because that's what the word but means. So you can't just agree and then say but right after it, because that negates the fact that you just agreed.
Okay, thank you for the vocabulary lesson anyway.
Jenna, it's Owlishness knows the truth. It's flat, and she's working through her cog discs with us, which is fine.
No, it's not that. I'm just trying to make you guys understand that you have all the vehicle for truth. You just are choosing to not drive it. You're choosing to believe something that's not.
You're projecting so hard right now, dude.
I'm so
That's
confused
a mad
about this.
projection. That is a mad projection.
Wait, since when does a superior mirage help you see further?
You just exactly defined what a superior mirage is. That you can see further because you can see objects that you would not normally be able to see.
That's not what's going
because
on.
of refraction.
So you're saying
right?
when the road
It
looks like
sounds to
water,
me-
you're actually seeing further?
It sounds to me like you're juggling things around in your head to try to make sense of this and keep it adhered to your globe belief. Like you're trying to make sense of this, but you also can't even put your beliefs down. You know,
Right.
that's the whole thing. Is it's not even a belief. Flat Earth's not a belief. Okay, it's actually good to enter into these things without having any beliefs. I don't know anything for certain. I have no beliefs. I am analyzing all of this information.
Right,
Totally
so
normal,
if-
by the way, Owlishness. Totally normal. Like, it
Yeah,
happens.
so if I were to observe what I am seeing in front of me in that photo, it looks to me like oil rigs further out are wavy. So is that the case?
Okay.
Okay, Owlishness, yes, to all of us, the oil rigs look wavy. But how does that validate How is it proof of curvature? That's what I want to know. I keep asking you that, and you keep not answering that question.
It is proof
How
of
is it
curvature because in the same video in which the black swan was captured, you can actually see it's at I think it's at 1 minute 2 seconds into the video. You can see that original photo that was posted. The one that was posted at 18 past the hour, that's also in the video at the same video.
the wave? Are you talking about the wave that appears to block the bottom half of the furthest oil rig?
The wave? What do you mean the wave?
I'm not
You
seeing.
know, waters have waves, right?
Yeah, exactly. Water has waves on the
Oh
top.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Water has
So
waves
What's
on
going
the
on in
top.
your brain
right,
right
do you
now?
understand that
Waves are
waves
not
have a wake?
curvature.
Waves have a wake, right? So you would be able to see the wake of that wave. You can see the waves. Waves don't have their own waves. You can see the waves. There isn't a
Do
bigger
you know what a
wave.
wave is? Do you know how
Yeah.
waves actually behave? Like
Well,
any
I
wave?
can tell you that they
Not
most
just water
certainly.
waves.
Okay, so you're saying that this other photo at 18 past the hour is showing a
Post the
wave.
photo. There's so many
I just
people typing in the chat. Post the photo.
I just told you it's at 18 past the hour. Can you not scroll up, or do you need me to post it
No,
again?
I keep scrolling. I keep scrolling, but it keeps sending me back down because everybody's typing in the chat. So
Oh, okay,
I
you're on
couldn't-
mobile.
I can't-
You're on mobile. Okay.
Right. So
Okay, yeah, I hate that Discord does that, but yeah, I get it.
the
Okay.
the
Here you go.
original the whole point is in that black swan in that video you can see horizon way further past the second oil rig. Let's break this down for a second. According to your heliocentric belief, you cannot see past 3 miles before the curvature starts. You would not even with any camera, a camera at 1 foot observer height, you would not even be able to resolve past 3 miles, not even with the camera. The fact that we can see with a camera and resolve beyond 10 miles to the horizon should tell you right there that something's wrong, that the globe math is wrong. You got 3 miles. You should only be able to see 3 miles, hon. Well, we can see 10 miles and we can see horizon beyond the furthest oil rig. So clearly something isn't adding up, right? Yeah.
But in that photo, you can't see 10 miles. I mean, you can, but you can clearly see that it's
You
obscured.
can't, but you can. Oh my gosh, girl.
Well,
You
yeah,
can.
you
double
can
speaking.
see, but
You're
the
double
it's
speaking a lot. You keep
You
doing the
double
yeah, but
speaking.
it okay.
Fighting through
But
your own cognitive dissonance here, honey. You are fighting through your own cognitive dissonance here.
right, but it's obscuring
Right.
the correct
Right,
amount.
Right butt. There's that right butt again. There's that right butt.
Hey, I'm looking for the right
Because
butt too in my life.
I'm
Let me
being
just say.
agreeable with you. I'm being agreeable with you so as to not dismiss what you're saying, because if I were to just straight up tell you were wrong, you wouldn't
be denying
be
reality.
inclined to continue listening to me,
You would
right?
be in
Right,
complete
right.
denial.
So,
You
are
would
you
be in
reading your
complete
like
denial.
field manual or something, Owlishness? Is that what it
What's
says?
your Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
My field manual? You mean I don't know. I'm just kind of like having a conversation.
I think you need to go back to training.
Yeah,
So
that's scripting.
Yeah, we shouldn't be able to see beyond 3 miles, not even with a camera. And yet we
cannot
can see
see
beyond
beyond
3 miles with a camera. We have this cool technology that can resolve things at distances that our eyes cannot reach. Yes?
So according to the
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was waiting for you to finish.
No,
I
I
thought you
mean,
were saying something else.
it was a question. It was a question. So we should, according to the globe model, we shouldn't be able to see past 3 miles with or without a camera. And we've got this awesome technology, these awesome cameras that can resolve things well beyond 3 miles. They can resolve things that our eyes cannot reach, right?
Mhm.
Yes? Okay. So here we are going, well, shit, we can see way too far
but wait, where do you
across
get the
this water
3 mile number
because
from?
we know what water does on the surface. It's physical science. It's just basic physics, man.
You keep saying 3 miles. Why? This is a very short distance.
Right. If
So
you
you
right
said
here,
earlier, did you forget your own religion suddenly?
3 miles. Yeah, look here, right here. If you look it up and ask how far you can see, how far can the human eye see before the Earth curves? It says 3 fucking miles. You can just do a quick Google search.
That's assuming a 6-foot observer height, and that's using the 1.2 mile geometric horizon formula.
Correct. And so we can see beyond 10 miles from only a 1-foot observer height. This would mean that the globe math is wrong. It's all wrong. It's falsifiable, very easily falsifiable.
So you can. It's the fact that like you are not seeing beyond 3 miles because it's the proper amount of curvature is obscuring the object as it should. You can see the geometric horizon 3
Nope.
miles away,
Nope.
and then you can
Nope.
see
You're wrong. Nope. You're wrong.
Can
I'm
we
just
get your
looking at
definition
the
of
photo.
horizon?
You're wrong. We can
Can we get your
resolve past
definition of
3
horizon?
miles. We can even resolve past 3 miles at a 6-foot observer height. Okay, at a 6-foot observer height. I'm 5'8". Okay, if I'm standing on the shore and I'm looking out across the
What about
water,
3,000 feet?
I'm probably resolving further than 3 miles with my own eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the fact that I can bust out a camera and resolve 3 times that amount with my camera, I shouldn't be able to do that. There should be an Earth curve in the way, and there's not.
You can see that there is though in that photo.
No, you
Because
can't. You can see that there's a wave though in that photo.
You can see there's a what?
You can see that there's a wave in the photo.
That is funny. A wave. I like that. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one yet.
Oh, hey, guys, newsflash. The sea doesn't have waves.
I have never heard the explanation for this photo being that there is a wave in the way. That's a brand new sentence.
Never mind that it's further back in the perspective. Do you know how like your field of view works? Do you know how your field of view works when you're like looking straight in front of you? It's like looking in the large end, like the base of a pyramid, all the way to the point where it narrows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so things in your field of view at further distances are going to look shorter and shorter and shorter. I want you to do an experiment and stack up some like Legos, lighters, do lighters, okay, like big lighters. Stack up a bunch of big lighters across a long table, nice level table, level it out, get your leveler, make sure it's all fucking AJ squared away, and put the camera down there. You're going to see that these objects further and further and further away look like they are going down. They look like they are shrinking into your frickin' table, but you know that your table is flat and level. This is the same optical effect that we get even across water. This is why the oil rig looks like it's below the alleged curvature when it's not. There's also
You just said it was a wave.
obstructing that in the way.
Yeah, you just said it was a
there's
wave
also a
though.
wave obstructing that in the wave. You've got a
So-
wave, you've got the perspective, and you've got the atmosphere involved in this. And I don't know where I'm wrong. Like I'm not wrong. You still haven't proved curvature.
What which one is it though? Is it a wave or is it when you look at something it gets smaller? Because we're getting kind of
There's
conflicting.
definitely a bit of a wave in the way there, but it also has to do with your field of view, your perspective, the way things that appear to get shorter and shorter and shorter over distance. That goes to the vanishing point. Do you know about this?
Again, I ask you, why does the wave have waves on it?
Why does
Wait,
the
are you
wave
saying
have
it could only be
waves on
one
it?
thing?
Holy shit.
Yes.
How blonde are you? Like, are you a blonde? Are you a natural
It's a
blonde?
decent
Like,
question.
That's
It's a
that's
decent
racist.
question. What causes waves?
Can I get in just for a second, guys? It's really important to understand that you guys are claiming refraction, and if you look up Snell's law, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here. What we're claiming is there's atmospheric turbulence, which would explain what we see here. But you guys are claiming that, atmospheric turbulence, that's crazy. What we're actually seeing is refraction and the light is bending down around the curved Earth at 8 inches per mile square, the exact same curvature rate as the Earth itself, and it just happens to look flat because of refraction. Like, that's literally what your guys' argument is.
Even though there's atmospheric refraction can make things appear to disappear from the bottom up. And that's what we're getting at here in the flat Earth. Like, here's an example in the chat, right? Here, Owlishness. Take a look at this for a second, okay? And you just examine this. Nobody else text in the chat for just a second. Let Owlishness look at this and take this in. This atmospheric refraction.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how the bottoms of those buildings on the shore, they look to shrink at the bottom. You see that?
Yes.
You see that? That's exactly what's freaking happening. You're like, oh, wavy oil rigs and blah dee blah dee blah, as if it freaking is any kind of curvature proof. Honey, it's not any kind of curvature proof. We know what's going on here.
Right.
Right.
Which you're
right. You gonna say but? I'm waiting.
I'd like to make a claim. I'd like to make a positive claim. The Earth is flat.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that the Earth is not a globe.
What is your profession?
See, old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did.